Better.
Condors Esports is innovating intercollegiate gaming in Ontario and beyond. We've built a community where you can compete, play, and work in a dynamic program accessible from all campuses.
Condors Esports is more than just gaming. Here, you'll find empowerment and inspiration in state-of-the-art facilities equipped with the latest technologies and unwavering support.
We are varsity athletes, turning victories into championships as high-performing gamers.
We are relentless, constantly pushing our limits and pursuing excellence through every match.
We are Condors. Gaming connects us on campus or online, all through best-in-class equipment.
We're building a foundation of experience, powered by our passion, and developing skills that drive personal and professional success.
We are eager students, transforming our dreams into careers in dynamic and emerging industries.
Condors Esports goes beyond gaming, fostering enduring friendships, unforgettable experiences, and meaningful connections.
This is your chance to transform your passion for video games, esports, and technology into something impactful. Learn how Conestoga is introducing Condors Esports to your campus and connect with fellow Condors striving to soar.
We
are Condors.
And welcome back to Conestoga College. We're hanging out here in the Esports facility out in Waterloo. It's a magical land. I'm Leaf, and I'm hanging out with Cove today. It's all about League of Legends. It's a good thing they brought me along. I'm the resident expert here, and I'm glad that I can teach you as we go along today.
Expert? That's the first time hearing of that here. I'm excited to get some League of Legends in. I've been watching it for the past few weeks, and Leaf, we haven't had you on one of these streams yet.
No, I've done League.
You've done, well, not this season.
Yes.
Oh, this season you did one when I must have missed
Yep.
it. So you are familiar with the team. You must be looking forward to it then.
I'm familiar with the team. I am not so familiar with the game itself. Obviously, I've mentioned this before. I'll be straight up honest with everyone. I have probably collectively 10 games, and they were all on Ashe, which I'm happy to see is still a valid character at this point. I don't know if we'll end up seeing an Ashe pick today, but we'll do that when we get to it later down the road.
Now, if we're just clearing the air here, same here. I've played less than 10 games.
Oh, really? I thought you were more.
No, Deadlock.
Okay.
Deadlock.
I do love Deadlock.
Thankfully, I've watched more than 10 games, luckily. And
That is-
Conestoga has been the main one I've watched. And, I mean, that's the reason why I say, are you excited for the games? Because, I mean, they play some entertaining games.
Yes. Well, I mean, hopefully this is close. The matchup today is big, but we'll get talking about that in just a few moments. First up, of course, we got to introduce you to the squad, so let's take a look. Maybe. No.
Oh, no, pick face first.
Okay, I guess we're going to ban Fix Face. Okay. Production knows as much what those buttons do as I do about League of Legends. No. Anyways, there's our squad hanging out, of course, right in the center. Of course, your captain, the man himself, Lopaczynski, always leading the charge. He'll be taking our jungler role later on there. But Fusion, one of the newer members.
So I was about to say, his picture not on the screen yet, but a beautiful, beautiful man in his own right. I'll come out and say it. A looker.
Okay.
And you know, when
you
you watch
say that about me.
Silence will say all
That's
it needs
so
to say.
toxic.
And
Okay.
all I'm going to say, though, is speaking of looker, when you watch him play Fusion, a very, very good addition to the team. He's been on support, and he's been making
No, I think this was a big thing for the squad, is that it was important them to find the right foundation. They made a couple mix-ups throughout the season so far, which is very difficult to do, but bringing Fusion onto the squad, I think so far has done them well. And I'm hoping to see that continue on as they continue through the season, because it's getting near the end. So there really isn't a lot of time for them really to still be sorting stuff out. So this has to be a point, of course, in their season where they have things and they unlock and they know what they're doing. But with a leader like Lopaczynski, I can't say I'd be too worried.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things where I've had lots of conversations with Lopaczynski myself, and he's a guy that he has a real-life sports background, and he feels like that carries himself well in handling himself under pressure, and as well as just being there for his teammates and being supportive in every way he can. He understands, as he's been around the block now, as he understands that there's a lot of roster shakeup in collegiate esports.
Oh, just in general in collegiate.
Oh,
yeah.
exactly.
I mean,
in esports.
Yeah, it's impossible really to get your footing when things change around a lot like that. But they've been doing well. Let me know what's going on. Our Condors at 4-2. What's the situation here, Cove?
Well, we got a very, very exciting matchup, and one where you're going to want all eyes on it, as this is a win and you're in matchup. But the best part, too, it's a lose and you're done. So they have to come out here strong.
Yeah, this is one of those ones where it's exciting for people watching, because obviously if the games are close, then it's exciting. It's no matter the rank, the level you're playing at, having teams be in a situation where they play evenly and things are on the line is always an exciting story. The problem, obviously, is for the squad, is that ends up being a super anxiety-inducing situation to be in. We get the pleasure of not having to be in their seats.
Well, yeah, you look at the standings there. In 5th place, Conestoga, 4-2 right now. And then we're facing off against George Mason University, who's 4-1. But I hate to break it to you, that one won is a forfeit loss because they were unable to play.
So they're perfect at this point.
They haven't been defeated, I would say. They've
okay.
lost, but they haven't been beaten.
Right. Yeah. No, I heard whisperings that this squad, who we are facing up against here, is potentially one of the forerunners for the top of this group, had they not, of course, had that forfeit. So getting a head-to-head over them is going to be huge, because if it does come down to a tie situation up against GMU, then we automatically get that spot into playoffs.
Well, this is a make it or break it game for Conestoga. This will prove if they have what it takes to move forward and really make some noise in the playoffs. Like you said, George Mason, one of the top teams. I mean, if it wasn't for that forfeit loss, maybe would be the top team. And coming into this season, heard through the grapevines that they were projected to be number 1 in the conference.
Well, let's just hope that they don't live up to their standards today, because for the Condors, while they may come in as the underdogs here, talking to Lopaczynski, and he's got to have the confidence, but he does say, no, it's closer than you think. This, while they might be the underdogs, is still a matchup that they can win. Obviously, a lot of that is going to come down to that band pick phase when we get to that in a few moments. And past that, I mean, if you don't get what you're looking for, that it can just really steamroll. But into the matchup, they'd have to work some magic for sure if they don't get the picks they're looking for.
Well, you talked a bit before about our conversation with Lopaczynski, the team captain over there, and the one thing he said about if we are out of this one, it's not by much. It's a 60-40 favor really for them, as he doesn't count Conestoga out at all. And the other thing about the conversation with him as we get closer to our pick and ban phases is they're being tight to the chest with it. They're being a lot more secretive. They do have things they want to do, but Lopaczynski himself, he's going more of a blind pick.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. You take the most experienced player, and we've seen him, honestly, swap around on his picks just in general quite a lot, because he's the player that's just super confident when it comes to being able to adapt for his teammates. And we do want to shout out our player to watch today is, of course, going to be Corm, and it's 92 kills. Look at that gold average as well.
Yeah, that's just everything you would hope for. I mean, the KD ratio, it's almost that is over 2, as my math is just barely good enough, and that's exactly what you look for. One of those guys that you see him often with Fusion or whoever else is doing the supporting on that bot lane, and he's been doing some very good work so far.
I should hope so. I mean, again, as an ADC, like you're really hoping that you're often finding yourselves in a good scalable situation. I mean, this is going to be a matchup that's going to be harder for him. I mean, the support role is going to be a lot bigger in this situation. You really need to make sure that you're getting those last hits down in bot as well, because if you're not, you're going to end up in a situation where you're not helping your team later on. And up against a team like GMU, you really need to make sure that you're not losing any of those edges too early on. So it does turn into a situation where that's almost one of the more important roles coming into this matchup here, and there could end up being a lot of pressure on him to play that.
Oh yeah, well, whether or not it's one of the more important roles or not, it will be the player to watch of the game. And hey, if Conestoga wins this, there's a good chance that it could be because of him. And in the same token, if they lose this, it could also be because of him. As that is one of the, again, just like the matchup today, it's make it or break it. He's one of those players as well for Conestoga. He could decide an entire match. Watch out for Corm today and what he's able to do.
He was a Hey there, welcome back. We had a gremlin got into the studio here, but are you okay, Kof?
It hurt a lot to kick him out of here, but after a hard fought,
You're good to go?
I rolled a nat 20. We're
clear.
beautiful.
Awesome, perfect. Let's hope we roll some nat 20s here on picks. You can see them on screen. Thankfully, they're up there. We talked to the squad before, Cove, and off the bat, already seeming like decent. It's going decently well for us when it comes to band picks.
The number one thing is that Skarner pick for Conestoga. That's Lopachinski up at the top there making that pick, and that's one that he really wanted to get in this one, as these games that we're going to see here against the better opponents, George Mason, and then I remember Lopachinski, he did give a special mention to both the Conestoga team themselves, George Mason, Oakland, and Northeastern, where these games are going to be slower, and so these picks right here matter a lot, and he was telling us a lot about how much it matters for how they play the game, and they did get the blue side, which, of course, I'm pretty sure they wanted it.
Yeah, blue side is Skarner was a pick they were going for. I mean, Casante as well is also a pick that I think most players are going to be familiar with. So not shabby as well for them. And then as well. Look at the other side. Zach Fioricena and Aurora for the other squad. But again, the game plan for this wasn't their opponents' picks. It was more so being able to get the picks that we wanted. We wanted to be able to come into this to be able to play our game and play as comfortably as possible. So taking our first few picks in a scenario that doesn't give away too much of our game plan to our opponents is what we wanted. And from my understanding, I think we got a little bit of that because, again, it was all about setting up those last few picks with your top and your mid and support to be able to get those comfort picks that they wanted.
And specifically not getting, at the end of the draft here, where we are right now, George Mason's last pick, they were trying their best to avoid counter picks. As that Skarner pick that, oh man, I'm going to butcher these names. Hawaii,
I'm guessing. Shows you how much we know here.
The pronunciation far and away off from what it probably is. But what we do see is Conestoga taking their first two picks, what they expected to pick, and that gives the George Mason side no real information on what they're going to do throughout the matchup, and that's what they were trying to do, is they got past the second ban phase, then locked in their strategy.
Right. Well, again, then seeing the Jinx make its way onto the picks as well. From my understanding of the squad, this is going to be good for the squad as well. So now the picks are in and ready to go. I'm hoping that we landed on our comfort picks, champs that we ended up wanting in the first place. I hope the strat worked out, because if it didn't, this could end up turning into a potential landslide. Obviously, GMU coming into this as the favorite for, honestly, the entire league, this division here, but definitely in this matchup as well. So coming in as the underdogs, this was our big strat. Everyone always says it, and you know it. It's you win or lose by the ban pick phase. So as long as it went in our favor, there's a potential for a really close matchup here. We're going to find out, obviously, once it comes to, I would say there'd probably be a good indication around that 15-minute mark, how we're starting to roll. Because, I mean, the whole goal is, and they say it a million times, is playing objectives. And if we can see them playing and winning one or two objectives like through grubs, then I think we're in a good position for a long-haul game here.
You say long haul, and you mentioned it there, 15-minute markers where we see things shake up. I think in a matchup like this, it might be 20, 25 minutes. Like, we've seen a ton of matchups this year with this Conestoga team, because they're quite good. While they are underdogs, they're quite good. We got to give them respect that they deserve.
The important thing is they're not hitting relegation. I mean, regardless of win or loss here, no relegation when it comes to the division. So they'll still end up being, it's okay, but you hope to make it to the next level, right?
Yeah.
Like you hope to.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And for a good team, that in a lot of their matchups this year have been quick games. I've seen a 20-minute game. I've seen a 19-minute game get played. And I think in the matchup we see today, 19 minutes, that's still going to be the first half.
Oh, that's you're nowhere near late game at that point.
It's going to be much different.
Again, the only other problem would be on the other side. If George Mason came into this and did catch the Condors off guard, straight through that bin pick phase, if it didn't go in our favor, and if they come in just playing a really smart game against the Condors, we could see it steamroll their way. But for the Condors, definitely an uphill battle. I would love to see it steamroll our way. But obviously, realistically, this if we want to win, this is likely a long-haul game for them.
Well, if we're going to see any steamrolls, it's just going to be on who's making the most amount of mistakes. And when both teams are very good, Conestoga coming into this one with only 2 losses, it's a team that doesn't make many mistakes, but when they have faced off against the better teams in the division, it's really been those tight collar games.
The skill difference in this division is obviously significant. And when we talked about the squad that was at the bottom of these leaderboards too, gold, I mean, they're getting stomped by everybody at this point. So it really is a wide difference. I mean, GMU, if I'm not mistaken, I did hear that they were in Super Conference last time and just got pushed down, right? So they're definitely still going to be the favorites in this group overall.
I heard, I could be wrong, but I heard that they were 4-4 in Super Conference, which is respectable. It's 500,
Yeah.
But again, when you got like the top teams are so good in their respective conferences, of course, and we're seeing it where George Mason in Super Conference was 4-4, and now they moved down 1 conference, and I mean, undefeated with 1 forfeit loss. You could tell that the skill difference there is unreal, and for Conestoga to get up into those levels, it's going to take a really strong showing.
But again, talking to Lopachinski, he said they're still going to walk away with their heads held high because they know where they're at right now. You know, if they can at least keep this close and don't get too off kilter, their communication's good and they feel good as a squad going into next semester. That's what they're thinking about right now. This is wonderful experience for them. For a team that, again, did go 4-4 in Super Conference, comes down here and starts stomping, to at least keep it close and potentially even get a win off of them would be massive for the squad and indicative of how much growth they've had. And speaking back to Fusion and Quorum, how well they've been in addition to this squad.
Absolutely. And when you talk about preparing for the next semester, those are the 2 guys I think about the most, Fusion and Quorum, as they get tighter with the guys, as they just play in Discord calls outside of the hub, outside of school entirely, the team in itself is going to get better, and they're going to act more as one unit. And that's one of those things in these big team matchups where both teams are even. It's going to be slow. It's about how the team itself is able to go and traverse the map and target their lazarus. It's what Lopachinski was saying. He's almost the pilot for this aircraft.
I think what's good is that he does at least still have familiar faces around him with Grami and Lazaro. I mean, we've seen Lazaro be able to hold his own plenty of times before. I mean, we've seen him have to adapt mid-game. He's been told, hey, move here, go to this lane. He knows that when he's moved around like a chess piece, he's going to deliver on making sure he's walking away and holding his teams back. So that way Lopachinski can move around as a jungler, get himself into a position to help any other teammates that may be struggling. So having those 2 foundational teammates beside Lopachinski allows Lopachinski to feel free to help with the other 2, but it hasn't been as necessary. We've seen them hold their own.
Oh yeah, and it's been like, that's probably one of the best things about the new additions to the team so far is they have held their own, and it hasn't required any hand-holding, it seems. It seems like they're right up to speed immediately. And then, as you said, the 2 guys that are there, both Lazaro and Karami, the top and mid laners, you could say it like that, but their role is so much more than that. The chess pieces that get moved around everywhere is like, just because they're responsible for that lane does not mean that is their only responsibility. No, much more goes on.
They're reliable. We'll talk them as if they're objects. They're reliable pieces that Lopachinski can again, well, I just said it, rely on and put into positions that he knows that he can move elsewhere. But again, I'm looking towards our MVP Quorum today to really deliver. I mean, the big question, I'm going to be watching him a lot, is can he hold that lane alongside his support, Fusion? Are they going to be able to hold their lane? If they can do that against GMU, that's going to give so much freedom to these other pieces on our chessboard that we know can hold their own too. So if that piece is solid, then we have a great match on our hands.
Yeah, it's almost like a scale, like, the justice scale. You can't have one side be tipped in the balance too much unless it's, going towards the other team's side, and then you'll love that.
I was also about to say, unless you're trying to go downhill, but I'm pretty sure the rift is like generally flat.
Either that or, well, in the perspective of the game, they're going up to the right, and that is what they want to be doing.
The way we're looking at it, they are going up to the right. But I think overall, I mean, there's some hills here and there. You know,
No, you talk about the map.
The map itself, yeah.
Terrain itself, the topography of the Summer's Rift.
Yeah, no, generally, let's keep things pretty even here. We've gone off the rails.
We have.
But again, for
twice now.
Yeah, it'll happen more. Don't worry about that. For our squad again, I am happy specifically that we saw and for Lazaro as well. I believe the Casantes is a good pick for Lazaro. If you're not getting the Nara Casantes, what you're looking for, but for Lopachinski, being able to have a jungler pick that he's good with, he'll know, and can be comfortable with, that also was built as a way to throw off the scent, is really good. So when we get into team fights, we'll be looking at him to help initiate and bring any of our opponents closer to them. So maybe after, again, a Grub or a Dragon, we're going to see any of those team fights start to initiate to give them a little more space out on the Rift to be able to start pushing those lanes a little better. But as is always early on, you said it, maybe we'll see a 6-kill game. In my opinion, that'd be ideal.
Ideal, so long as it's in Conestoga's favor, as we are getting closer and closer to starting this game up, and we'll see exactly how it does pan out, and everything that we talked with Lopachinski, does it come true? Is he able to pilot those chess pieces on the board effectively? And it's going to be on him too, as he is a piece on the chessboard, just like everyone else. It's going to be on him to play his role, not just as a leader, but as a player too.
Well, that's a hard thing sometimes, as we put a lot of weight on him, and also we're not as if he's everything to this, but everyone else is playing their part. But for Lopachinski, it's hard. I mean, like, managing the team as well and try leading the charge while also being a player yourself can be hard. But we'll find out as the matchup against GMU does get underway in just a moment here. It's, again, my eyes most specifically are likely on that bot lane and how both Fusion and Quorum are operating and balancing against our opponent's ADC. For GMU, hopefully they end up with a surprise. Cove, I'm hoping at least a map 1. I mean, like, this will be a great proving point for the Condors. They're happy regardless of a win or loss, but imagine how much more motivation will come out against GMU if they can get a win.
Oh, that would be huge for them, and that's everything when it comes to momentum. If you're able to go at a good team, one of the top teams, and you're able to come out with a map 1 win, that it immediately puts the ball in your court moving forward. And looking on the bottom lane here, a little bit of damage going down. The minions had spawned, and so that's when the action really starts here in these league games. But again, still waiting for any real action to go. This is all about gold management and waiting for things to spawn.
Yeah, this is, I mean, it is crazy, though. I mean, there's a lot of confidence from GMU right now, pushing our two bottom players down, and obviously not a good sign, because there's a lot of just a lot of free, I guess, minion hits that are coming out here for their ADC, and I really do think already GMU playing a pretty solid start to this. We may have to see Lopachinski help get involved.
Yeah, just those minions going down immediately. You do not want the GMU ADC to be getting any advantages early on. I mean, Quorum is good and all, but I mean, if the advantage is instantly not in your favor, then it's going to be hard to come back. And
look at that, already tower damage too from GMU. Obviously, it doesn't indicate how the rest of it's going to go, but that is a little bit of a rough start down there too. Even top lane is starting to feel a little bit of pressure. Mid, not far off either.
Oh, yeah. Karami holds mid pretty well, but GMU is sending everyone deep right now, and they're going for it. This is something, though, I will say I have seen in Conestoga games in the past, is that they will sometimes take a little bit of a backseat in these early goings, let them come at their tower, just knowing that they're keeping bodies around. And if you look at the gold, it's still neck and neck.
Oh, yeah. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, you're looking for your gold count. And if you can keep that even, you're solid. But a little bit of tower damage early on is not the worst thing. I mean, sure, they took damage, but I mean, you're already back to full health. It's not honestly something that is too worrisome.
It's not ideal.
Yeah.
Not ideal, but yeah, again, Conestoga is not like they're out of it here as we are just past the 4-minute mark. The gold 6K to 6K here. No one really getting the advantage other than, as you mentioned, to the turret. And here we see the jungler coming over. A big 3-on-2 fight. Jumping on Corm and Fusion and the first blood on the board there. Conestoga falls.
Yeah, and you got to watch out for Lazaro as well. Thankfully now at this point, you know junglers at bot, so you got a little more space to carry on here. I was actually just looking out for Lopachinski if we'd see him get involved in bot as well, but no, he was nowhere to be found in that fight.
Yeah, still just biding their time and realizing that one member down from the Conestoga side, again, much like the turret damage, not ideal but not detrimental.
Ooh, a little bit of damage there. It's going to buy a lot of space for Karami at mid, and you like to see it. Do we find a little bit of push-up? Yeah, I mean, Lopachinski's getting close. I don't know if he'll commit. He's still walking around jungle right now because this is, again, not a fight. Maybe they want to take this early on, though. Maybe an early pick here as Fusion does his best, but they at least push them back to tower.
And the Dragon, the first thing to spawn in this one here.
Ooh, good pick. There we go. Nice. Fusion getting it back here. As you said, Dragon's in, and we'll see now. Objective plays, that's going to be for Lopachinski.
Lazar taking huge damage there, but Venom from the GMU squad decided to go back out and hit the minions, and 3 members on Conestoga on the Dragon. That's perfect.
Well, the big thing about this is that early pick. Oh, watch out, the little creep in the corner there. As, GMU's trying to get themselves involved a little bit. You got jungle as well. And the rest of the squad's coming in here. Karami coming to help out. Team fight on its way. Dragon down. And it was GMU with the steal. Massive. You thought maybe Conestoga had that. We are going to be able to get back. Maybe a pick. No, low enough help. They don't want to commit. That could turn into disaster for them. Extended battle here, and we're going to lose Fusion. He's out of there. Hydroshi taking the kill. We're not going to be able to get one ourselves. Lopachinski also out of the battle. This was disastrous all around.
Corm down as well. 3 members on Conestoga being slain there. The Void Grub's down as well, and Conestoga with 3 members not on the map. That means the Void Grubs very easily could go in GMU's favor as they've sent 3 members mid to go keep the pressure on as they retreat. And again, I might see that Cloud Drake going to GMU's side.
That was huge. Yeah, that steal there. And you saw them posturing for this as well.
You mentioned it.
To be able to steal. And I didn't think they'd be able to snipe that one away. But Conestoga, no answer for that, and then immediately caught off because of that Dragon and losing that fight after.
Just unfortunate. I mean, there were members with, health low, as you said, heroes on the map that Conestoga had a chance to get some attacks on. As again, Lazaro and Venom here on the top part of the map, but in a constant battle, none of them ever getting super close to the death here as they're just trying to get the minion game as Conestoga has slain the Void Grubs. That's huge actually for them. They lost 3 members in that last fight. That's the comeback.
Absolutely. Good pullback. I mean, grabbing any objective that you can to keep yourself in the game. Losing the Dragon obviously hurts. And again, I thought they might have had this. That great early pick that Fusion had there gave them a lot of the space for Dragon. But then they, of course, pulled mid and jungle over to help out. So good heads up from GMU to be able to adapt for that play. But Conestoga, good job keeping your heads in the game here. Hydroshi might feel a little bit of that poison back here. Also, again, Lazaro holding his own up at top. And that's what I was saying. Lazaro, a piece you can count on.
Exactly. Ever reliable. And there's 3 members on George Mason U on the bottom half of the map there. And just retreating to their tower and taking huge damage here. It's Fusion and Corm. Definitely with their backs against the wall, the man advantage, and GMU prioritizing bot, it looks like right now.
Yeah, well, this is I said this before as a total expert on League of Legends, is that bot is probably going to play a significant role in who's winning this. And unfortunately, we're getting a little bit pushed back and rolled and not controlling that bot as much as we could. And again, as I say it, Fusion taken off the board, and this makes it really hard for Lopachinski because now he's got to decide, does he get down there and start helping push back, or is he going for objectives, which are extremely critical to their success as well.
Now, I did say I was hoping this wasn't going to be a slow game and slow kills, but this is not what I had in mind. Karami taking huge damage in mid here. He's trying to retreat over to jungle and unable to here. Hydroshi able to take him out, and again, I wanted this not to be a low kill game. This is not what I was talking about.
Yeah, well, I'm blaming you still. This is the wrong way around. You see that gold count already starting to creep out of control at 9 minutes, too. And that's, obviously not ideal, not out of control, but 4K gold diff already is a little bit hurtful.
Yeah, that's when you feel your collar start to tighten around your neck here, and Lopachinski given a little bit of help on the bottom lane as Conestoga is definitely playing from behind here. 10 minutes in, and you were saying that 15 minutes we might start actually seeing, the game shake out, and you might have been completely correct. This is starting to get a little dicey.
Well, the thing is that they're going to have to start posturing for respawns on these objectives. And you also know GMU is going to be in that position as well. So I'm curious how Condors are going to play that out when it comes to who they're pulling into these fights, knowing that they're going to be a little behind. Does Lazaro get involved?
In a lot of situations like this with Conestoga, 10 minutes in with their backs against the wall, is they will shuffle. They're not afraid of changing up strategies. And coming in here from Jungle, Hydroshi on the turret. Peru is on a rampage. That's his 5th kill in a row and a double kill at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Of course, he's one rocking a bounty now. And things might start steamrolling a little bit. Lopachinski into the fight, but a little behind. Our top tower is starting to take damage. Lazaro, he was off getting his nails done, but he's back, ready to push off any intruders. But again, as we see objectives eventually start making their way to the board and into play, that's going to be massive to be able to grab.
Yeah, Dragon spawning in the advantage of GMU, and just throwing back to that moment in the map, Conestoga had it like right there, right at the end to the kill bar, and just unable to get the kill. And Lazaro and Venom, of course, top lane, just an eternal battle, right back and forth.
Oh, they got to watch out, though, as Karami gets eliminated once again. That's going to poise them real well for that Dragon if we can't win that bot fight right now. Top, obviously, is taking its own little battle, as you mentioned before here, but that bot over by Dragon is going to be the big story. And Condors look like they might be able to walk away with a dub here, but they can't get those picks over by Dragon. And the battle commences down here, and it looks like GMU is going to be able to poise themselves for another Dragon Cove.
Yeah, effective movement tech from GMU to pull themselves out of the fight and go right back to that Dragon. There were 3 members of Conestoga there set to face off against them, but after seeing 4 people there, and getting that chem check Drake, which, of course, if you remember, is, I'm pretty sure, resistances and health. So they're going to be very tanky moving forward.
Healing and shielding.
Yes.
Healing and shielding.
Not good for Conestoga.
Yeah, no, this, it's not good, which is why they left. They said, we're not winning this, and sometimes you got to play smart. We're giving up on that bot lane right now, and let's move elsewhere to see if we can poise for other objectives. That's something you need to do. It's a constant balance. Sometimes you have to say, we lose this fight, let's go pick another.
Lazaro actually making some good distance here on the top lane, but bottom lane, look at the tower damage. It's over half. They're really, really losing that lane.
Yeah, this, again, overall, not looking good.
We got more Void Grubs at least.
No, and well, this is what I'm saying. This is what they chose to do instead. Rather than taking that fight and being out of position for both, let's go for some Void Grubs. Maybe that can help us with our towers and keep our opponents at bay just a little bit. And it does help. Absolutely. It's that balance, the pick and choose of which battle you're going to fight.
And if we look at the golds, a little gold update here. 13 minutes in, Lazaro and Venom in the middle of a fight, though. This is a little bit more important as Lazaro's taking some really big damage, has minions on his back as Venom looks to pull out. Fusion, though, coming over all the way to top lane to give some support with Lopachinski.
Yep.
We'll see if they're able to get Venom as they're doing some damage here. Polymorphed is Venom, and in that grass going down, Lazaro and Fusion coming all the way out to top. That's a little change up.
No, it's a little change up. I like to see it because it does at least give them something. I mean, if you can get that kill, get a little bit extra gold as well in the meantime on the board, you need to make back this deficit that you're hitting now close to this 15-minute mark we were talking about before, and you're this far behind, you need something.
Well, I was going to give a gold update, but then we got a huge fight there, and that fight for Conestoga brought them back in gold as they were down. I mean, it was closer to 6K, but if we look at it here, we're getting pretty close to 25K to 20K, which, again, it's not good. It's definitely not good. But I've seen gold leads like this get overcome before. This is not foreign to Conestoga.
No, this is still reasonable. And again, as long as we can get our toes back in the water of the objective game, then we'll be fine here. And look at this. This is another side swipe from Lopachinski. Drag him in, baby. Get him to the tower and shut him down. Wild side up. No, is going to make it out of there. They don't win that fight. And the rest of GMU getting involved back up. Condors maybe bit off more they can chew here as we do lose Lopachinski. Karami likely going to be right behind him here. At least a trade for the Condors. They salvaged something out of it, but with Lopachinski out of the battle for a little bit, of course, that's going to hurt them when it comes to that jungle lane there. And I think Condors, yeah, they want out of this, the rest of GMU surrounding them, but I do want to see how that's going to affect the rest of the board here because Corm has a little bit more space down there.
And the first tower going in George Mason, that's the second blue turret going down, as I'm pretty sure it's now bot and top lane for Conestoga. They're losing ground, and that was a full 4v4 fight, and GMU able not to die in that battle. And that worked out well for them as they got members on the map still, and they're able to take out these side objectives to get them even stronger and even further into the game.
Well, yeah, that honestly, you really were hoping that pick from Lopachinski over on top lane was going to be something to bring them closer, but GMU is playing really smart, and they seem to be calling out a lot of these plays from Condors.
Godlike. Talk about playing smart. Talk about playing with some skill. I do have to shout it out because you don't see it too often. Peru on the other team there, 7-0-1. That is an extraordinary player here, and 7 kills. Conestoga said this would be a low-kill game, and hey, just as long as they're able to get back into it.
To be fair, they said if it's going to be even, it could be a low kill game.
True, could, keyword.
Yeah, but this definitely is going to need to see some adjustments going forward. I mean, I feel like the match is starting to get a little bit out of hand. There's multiple factors at play right now. There's the objective game, and that early steal on that first dragon was big for them. The fact that GMU is just calling out a lot of these plays. It feels like they've seen a lot of these habits that the Condors are displaying right now. Losing that bot lane early on definitely showed the weakness. The fact that they did get pushed back so early allowed GMU to say, hey, we're going to move up down here. We can also snipe some dragons as a result. Kudos to Condors for getting grubs back, but that's not GMU's game plan.
Venom hiding in the bushes, peeks out and has a wild side hook as well, coming from the tall grass, able to make an attack and just catching Lazaro off grass. Wano. Doom. It's a wild side hook appeared and able to take a Lazaro, unfortunately.
Did you just kind of do a Pokemon battle?
Yes, absolutely. It's a wild side hook appeared.
That was great.
I didn't get into it. Lazaro got into it and unfortunately falling. And here's Venom all alone on the bot lane. And look at that damage done.
Yeah, and Mountain dropping for them. I mean, it's really not going to make a big difference at this point. I mean, obviously, 3 dragons in a row is a good thing, but it's that gold lead that is really going to set them off to sail right now. Condors, a miracle will have to happen here. I'm not sure what the game plan for them would be because even if you try to fight now with Baron coming up, it doesn't really feel as if you're winning that fight either.
Yeah, the worst part too is that they took top lane almost all the way down to spawn. They took bot lane all the way to spawn, and now they're in the mid lane. Hydroshi's on a killing spree, and they're able to take this one out. Lazaro, though, on the comeback for Conestoga, him with Corm Infusion on his back.
Hey, we'll take the trades here, but the problem is we don't end up taking more than one from them, and I would have liked to see a little bit more out of them, but it's really hard when you're in these battles where your heroes are just underscaled. Are just underscaled compared to your opponents, and yeah, they're just overstepping a few times, and that's going to happen more and more once you find yourself scaled behind so far.
Exactly. Conestoga finding themselves between a rock and a hard place, and the hard place is actively coming at them, and it's just been much like Rocket League yesterday. I said the word relentless quite often, and here we're seeing just no breaks from the GMU squad. They're taking Conestoga right to their limits.
For the Condors, you don't really want to worry too much about the kill difference in most cases, but here it is probably going to tell and be a little bit more indicative of the story and the fates that the Condors are looking at. But you know, they'll keep fighting tooth and nail to the end. Unfortunately, their teeth and nails are getting worn down on that hard place, the rock that's headed their way.
That is, and slowing down a little bit here, Lopachinski doing whatever he can to get his team back into this one. And you're talking about that KD on the top of the screen here as 3 members in from George Mason, all going at Lopachinski. They have him locked in that room, and that's going to spell doom for him. And when it's 15-3 and 20 minutes into the game, you would hope, of course, that that number's a little more even. You're getting more trades. Right now, it's just been ambush and gank and just team fights going completely in George Mason's side. And you want to tell us the gold? Because I don't really want to.
No, I don't want to. Everyone else can see it. At this point, I mean, but we could get it back if we can go for any of these bounties, right? I mean, that's going to be huge for us. But at this point, you're not going to find any of those GMU players out solo. They're working together so incredibly well right now. And even when you do catch one solo, you're almost losing those fights. But massive shutdown on the other side there. That's going to be an extra 150. But one bounty back isn't going really to spell the difference at a 10K gold diff.
Sadly not. And while every kill from here on out does matter, I honestly here, each kill matters all the more as Conestoga, hey, it's not over. They still have all of the chances in the world to push back into this one. It's just those chances are dwindling and dwindling, and they're going to have to pounce on some opportunities and pull something out that George Mason isn't expecting, because George Mason's playing stupidly clean right now.
Reminder, in this best of 3, Condors have a chance if they can take down GMU in the next 2 maps. They'll have to reverse sweep if they can't get this one back, that they can lock in. I believe the playoffs, it was, yes, playoffs.
This is.
But otherwise, they're not going to be able to get in. That will be it. This was their last kind of chance to lock it in. And unfortunately, the looks of it so far is that, well, they'll have to reverse sweep, but the looks of it is that GMU might be just a little bit too powerful, Cove.
Yeah, it looks pretty good in skills. I mean, those first 2 kills coming on the boards, and when we see team fights happen, Conestoga is able to explode out, and they're able to get some good damage. Yeah. It's just that skill level, the tiers. If Conestoga's in B, then George Mason's in B+, and Conestoga, they could get there to B+. It's just Conestoga in this game, when you look at the kill feed, it's more of a B- performance.
It was cohesion. I mean, honestly, what we've seen so far from GMU has just been phenomenal. Reads, first off, on all the plays of the Condors, but also just their positioning feels to be near perfect. I mean, it started all initially with that first Dragon steal. It felt like after that, they didn't care about grubs. We're looking like, hey, at least we're getting something, but that was not their game plan this whole time. They gave that objective up just for those Dragons, and then be able to win those team fights right after really showed how confident they were when it came to their positioning on this map, because they're in the right spot every time.
And Conestoga was afraid of it. They were afraid of being counterplayed, so to say, and that's exactly what it looks like with George Mason knowing what Conestoga's plays are and knowing where to be on the map at the right time. It's all about counterplays, and while they were trying to avoid it with their character picks before the game started, it looks like Conestoga failed in that mission, as George Mason has them scouted, and it's going to be on them to pull out some maybe B strategies to get some big kills. And speaking of kills, there's Lazaro, and he's on a kill spree of his own. Yeah, no, Lazaro, again, one of those rocks we talked about before. You put him in top for a reason. You can rely on him to kind of just stay his lane, quite literally, and play the game the best he can. Oh my God, though, a massacre potentially happening around mid here. We got 4 of our players there now. 5 were there. We lost one already. The battle now starting to go into the hands, of course, GMU. I mean, the scaling is beyond anything that we can really handle. We thought maybe we had a pick there, and unfortunately, once again, GMU has called out our positioning with an answer of their own. They've just been so effective in playing like a team and staying together in bunches. That good old-fashioned all-for-one, one-for-all strategy is working out great for them as they take out another Drake, the scaling even more in their advantage. Conestoga got so close to getting that pick, but just when it looked like there was one member, 4 spawned. Yeah, this is one of those points where showed up.
you start to feel it's potentially all but over. Obviously, we don't want to count them out here, but with this going as well, I mean, this is probably the point where they just start to steamroll into base. They're going to have those lanes pushing up real strong, and with all of you guys dead, they're not going to steal Baron. That goes straight to GMU, and watch all these lanes start to really start to creep towards them. With towers down as well, those inhibitors will end up going soon after.
Yep, channeling back to base, buying everything they need for this final push of the game, most likely. And as you're saying, yep, this is it. And we saw it yesterday with the Rocket League games. They had a best of 7 after their best of 5. This is something a little similar. How much do you think that the League of Legends team is talking about the next match, even while in this one?
Well, at this point, yeah. I mean, there's definitely going to be some discussions. They're still going to try their best to pull it back. I mean, you put Faker in this situation, he might find an answer, right? He's not here, but that'd be really cool if he was. But there might still be an answer, and you don't do yourself any service by giving up, even when it feels all but over. You have to fight tooth and nail. You have to fight to the end. But realistically, the options are slim for a comeback. So you might end up start talking in the next one, but they will have some time after this. They'll take the fight here in mid as they try to just keep the opponents off. And at bay, GMU will start to poke bot as well, but mid lane, we hope to win a fight. Again, it just feels well out of reach here. After Baron as well, you got that massive gold lead. You got turrets down. It just doesn't feel like winnable fights, but you have to take them.
When you see Conestoga start to retreat, that's when you know it's pretty close to over. They are getting some kills in the last moments here. Psyduck went down, but it is all on Fusion and Karami left for Conestoga, and the GGs are soon going to be thrown up.
Yeah. No, this will be a GG here. 24-7 overall for kills. 53-37 for the gold lead. 16K gold lead is something that it's big, but the craziest thing is that it started so soon. I mean, obviously a 2K gold lead's not insane, but we even saw a 2K gold lead hitting around that just like sub 10-minute mark, and it was kind of indicative of it. You see the team again scratching their heads. They're like, yeah, Lopachinski's like,
he's thinking,
what do we do? Guys, come on, like what's going on here? What's the game plan going into the next one? It's a best of 3. They still have the possibility of working their way towards a victory. There's just a lot of lessons that need to be learned here, and I think a big part of that is going to be, what do we pick at next map to throw GMU off our scent, because they really had Condor's number when it came to calling out plays.
And we talked with Lopachinski before the game even started, as he wanted to avoid that as much as he could, and unable to. They just had Conestoga's number, and if I was thinking, what is Lopachinski saying right now at the desk? I'm picturing,
What's he saying?
Let's take out that dragon first, guys. That's immediately where the game switched, I feel like. That's where the gold got out of hands.
If they took that, you're absolutely, if they took that dragon, that helps them massively. I mean, the fight still was definitely, GMU had themselves positioned well for a fight, but if you could stop that steal, you might have had a better chance in that first fight, and it's now a much closer game because you also get to go up for grubs right after. You might have had 2 objectives, but instead, they only had 1, and for the Condors that steamrolled into multiple more dragons. So you lock down dragon. I mean, that's their goal here. I mean, they can't just keep saying, oh, let's give up dragon, let's go for grubs. These dragon picks early on need to go in their favor coming to this next one. So for them, I feel like their picks and their play needs to revolve around that.
Exactly. And Leaf, I think that they're definitely going to be talking about going for the dragon more, and of course, you mentioned it, switching up their picks. Is there anything else you think that Lopachinski's telling the boys there, or do you think that he's telling them, just stay calm, stay true to yourself, or do you think something else is coming out?
Yeah, he started singing the Wizard of Oz Yellow Brick Road songs.
And if it works, all power to him. I hope he sounds good.
That's not what he did. Absolutely, that's for map 3. He told me.
That's the comms switch off.
That's good. But again, up against GMU, this is going to end up being a a battle that is like, obviously I want to sit here and be confident they can do it, but I never know. There could be some sort of game plan that comes out, surprise picks that could throw off GMU, but this really does feel realistically. I mean, obviously I got from Lopachinski a 60-40 in favor. I do feel after this point, though, Cove, I don't know if you'll disagree, but it might be more of like a 75 kind of 25 split.
Yeah, that's where I was going with
I still believe in them.
70-30. I mean, if I'm a betting man, hey, those are good odds. I might take those
Not too shabby.
just to up my earnings there, but I don't know. It's going to be very tight. It's going to be very close.
It's definitely for sure, but we'll find out in just a few moments. You see the squad taking a quick little break here, so we're going to do exactly the same. On the other side, they have to go for a reverse sweep. We'll see if the Condors can do it against GMU.
Conestoga College is setting the stage for a new era in gaming. In 2025, we're opening a state-of-the-art esports venue, a premier facility for high-performing gamers in Canada.
In this 10,000 square foot facility, we're putting you in the center of the action. The facility will have 50 top-tier PC stations, 5 console stations, immersive VR stations, a team operations room, a full production suite, and a premier competition stage.
Esports is a rapidly evolving industry with global viewership of 532 million in 2022. This initiative goes beyond esports. It's also a platform for forging bonds, making memories, and creating connections.
Since 2020, Condors Esports continues to evolve, providing industry-leading facilities and experiences to the esports community.
Conestoga's esports venue expresses a sustainable and intentional future to compete, play, and work, all powered by gaming.
Esports is for everybody. That's what makes this so special, where there's not a lot of barrier to entry. It's, do you have a passion for gaming? That's all it really takes. There's so many different things involved in this. It really does take that full team to make a successful event run. And that's what this program does. You got the lighting going on, you got the video capture going on, you got the whole production crew that are packaging this all together, you have the shoutcasting that's happening. We want to be, that pinnacle for esports. We want students to come here, learn from industry best, and launch their careers in esports. You have that new arena that's being built. To have that investment through the college, it proves a lot. We're invested in this. This can lead to something really big and something really neat and something that you're really invested in. It's a billion-dollar industry, and we really can't wait to see where this goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Conestoga College. We're still hanging out here, still watching some legal, well, not yet. We'll watch it in a few moments here. I'm still Leaf, that's still Cove, and I'm still not thinking.
No.
It's League of Legends. You got to turn your brain off, right?
Do
No,
I?
you got to turn it on
Yeah.
for this kind of game. Yeah, no, especially for this.
Oh,
because first game, give us a recap here. It didn't go too well.
Well, you say we're still watching is pretty adept because we lost that one in about 23 minutes. A quick one, and not something that I was expecting. As GMU just really took it at Conestoga immediately, and just I dare I say it, ran circles around them.
Yeah, at some points, quite literally, they swarmed them like packs of wolves. To be honest, there were so many times where it looked like we might be in the clear. We're going for a pick that we thought maybe we found one of the GMU players alone. All of a sudden, there was just a bunch of sharks. Well, I said pack of wolves. Dog sharks surrounding them and ready to pounce at any given moment. And GMU was working together very well. So coming into this next map, it's very much going to be that Dragon objective heavy, I guess, leaning, in my opinion, that the Condors are going to have to pick.
It was a very smart game out of George Mason, and Conestoga's going to have to turn the brains on even more now to counter that. Make sure they get their dragons, and make sure that when you're getting that dragon, don't do 95% of the damage just to lose it, as that was the biggest thing. It was a very savvy game played by George Mason, as they were able to use movement around the map to their advantage and just stealing things from under Conestoga's noses.
I'm curious, too, if they go for some picks now. This is such a hard back and forth. Okay, so they do most of the damage, 90% of the damage on that dragon. And you know now, all of a sudden, you see a poke and a prod that, oh, GMU wants in on this, right? You turn around, you try to fend them off. During that team fight, they turn around in the middle of it, take that dragon from you, right? Now, do you go into this knowing, okay, we might lose this team fight if this happens again, but let's keep one of us with a quick skill shot that can knock those final few HP, those hit points off of Dragon if they go to steal it. If we see one of them turn, you also turn and go for the hit shot. So, like, trying to time that, it's going to be very hard, but it's going to be this back and forth of who can time that last hit on Dragon. But I think Condors might have to look to that. If we save an ability, lose the fight, but don't lose that Dragon.
Yeah, your brain went to a similar place as mine, as what can you do in a situation like you just had to counter what happened? And they tried, I'm pretty sure it was either Lazaro or someone else was on the Dragon, but then, as you said, when that GMU member, they poked their head out and they left and lost the team fight. And there's almost a question of, do you let yourself lose that fight just to ensure the Dragon? And I don't have enough game time and experience to really have the answer to that question.
Well, I'm an expert, so I'm going to say yes.
I like it.
No, seriously, I think it really will come down to making sure that there's a game plan set around that now, because a steal can just happen. So, and you got to watch too. I mean, depending on your opponent's picks, which character is going to be taking that. Which of your opponents is going to have a champ that's going to be able to turn and take that in the middle of the fights. But keeping that perimeter, I mean, maybe what if they pull from lane? I mean, I think, what did they have last time on that Dragon? 3? Did they just have
George Mason
support
or
ADC and jungler? They didn't pull Karami down.
No, it was, Karami. I don't even know if Lazaro, it might have just been the 3 of Fusion, Korm, and Lopachinski on it.
Do you pull Karami? Because now your opponents obviously are going to expect some sort of answer to that. Because in my opinion, that was, and maybe their opinion's very different, and they would probably know better, that was the tipping point, in my opinion. And to me, it's like, do you pull Karami now? But if they know that you might do that, are they now going to avoid that first dragon, try to push your mid tower a little bit more, and go for second dragon? Like, what's GMU's mix-up game plan coming to this? Or are they just going to play the same thing, watch for you to go for that first dragon and then try to steal again?
Well, yeah, we'll see if GMU goes with the same thing. As I always like to say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so we'll see if GMU is gonna, keep going with that same strat. And again, it's on Conestoga to change something, because again, as you know, this is make it or break it. This is in or you're out, and this could be Conestoga's final map of the semester. at least in our conference
Oh,
here.
well, that's the biggest thing right now is that for the Condors, as you said, the big story here is that it's make or break because they really, of course, want to be the playoffs. I mean, it's fine to hit mid and be like, okay, we know where we stand, but let's push a little further if we can.
And now we're getting our picks in there. And again, I'm not going to talk too much about the people, but I'm going to just say real quick is that the mouths from Conestoga, Lopaczynski, and especially on the ends there, Lazaro, is they are talking about, I mean, they could be recapping a novel for all I know, is they're talking a lot, so much strategy is going out right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, when it comes to, I mean, you live or die by it, right? One of the things big here, did we, I'm fairly certain, we saw Zach, again, forgive me if I'm wrong, I should know by watching the game here, but a Zach pick from GMU on the last one, and we've seen the ban from Condors now, so maybe they feel like that was a big pain point for them in that last map. And again, if I knew this better, I would know that that was potentially the player on 10-0, but for them, they definitely know it's a pain point, get it out of there, and hopefully that doesn't, GMU is probably going to have some answers, but hopefully that buys us a little bit of space and a little bit of lenience on the field.
Again, we'll see how the bans work out, and maybe it was exactly who they needed to ban, and maybe that will change the game for them. I'm also curious if Conestoga, they were very worried about making sure they didn't get counterpicked. Do you think they might go for a counterpick of their own and maybe try to take it to George Mason, who it felt like George Mason was taking it to us?
Yeah.
They were countering what we were doing. We were just kind of playing our strats, and they were coming out on the counterattack. What if we instead come on the counterattack, try to stop what they're doing? As you mentioned it the most, is George Mason had some really good strat callouts of what Conestoga was trying to do.
Well, obviously for the Condors, they didn't feel like Senna and Aurora were large enough problems to shut down early enough. GMU is going to be able to get those two again. The Thresh on Condor side, they're definitely trying to go for a little bit of a different game plan when it comes to this next matchup. But I just really hope it's enough. I mean, the big thing will be focusing again that bot lane. Don't be losing that bot lane. Don't be losing your push on Dragon. Now they do switch sides now, right? Obviously, so that Dragon's going to be a little bit further out of reach for them, but that might give them the chance to be able to jump and steal.
That's exactly what I was going to say, is that Dragon being on the blue side was maybe a detriment to Conestoga's. Maybe it gave them the false confidence to take out so much of its health bar, thinking, we got this. There's only one member of George Mason here. There's no way they interfere. And then, well, you saw it. They interfered in a big time.
They didn't like, by the way, Lopaczynski's pick earlier too. I mean, GMU taking him right off the bat here, the Skarner.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good. I mean, Lopaczynski obviously was in a position to potentially initiate a lot of those fights. So I can understand them wanting to take it out and get that out of the way. As Lopaczynski, one of the more experienced players here, but I feel like a lot of their picks should have been focusing on maybe shutting down Lazaro. I mean, again, he was one of the key players, I believe, in any successes the Condors did have.
Just how much he's able to define his role in the top lane and define his role on the game entirely is really dependent on what Conestoga can do to win or lose. And of course, you don't want to lose the bot lane like you did in that last game. That's going to be huge to recover. But if you're able to maybe lean a little bit on that top and maybe use that to your attack.
Again, Casante pick for the Condors. And again, I wish there's just so many champs. I wish I had the deep dive knowledge. Apologies to anyone out there in chat. I hope you guys are doing the real analysis over us. We're just here to hype things up. But the don't know exactly the game plan for either of these squads coming into this. Besides for the Condors, make sure don't lose those objectives.
Well, as the chat will be happy to let you know, I don't know a single thing about just anything. So
that's true.
League of Legends, anything else. I love going into things blind, and I love going into a little bit. I mean, we talked to Lopaczynski, we'll see. But, I mean, I'm hoping that, they might be able to take a page out of my book and go into the second game. Acknowledge that you lost that first game. But like I said yesterday, water off the duck's back. You just got to keep going. And
that's true.
Like a hockey goalie, short memory. You got to go right into this next one. And, of course, recover, adapt, improvise, overcome.
Hey, apt descriptive. Lazaro's a hockey goalie. So he could just forget about what happened last time and just move on.
In one ear, out the other.
That's it. I'm also a hockey goalie. And very true.
So yes, what I said there rings true for many people. Why do we got so many goalies here? Andrew Ireland, also a hockey goalie.
That is actually interesting because honestly, it's generally you don't find a lot of us. It's harder to find us than players.
Yeah, a dying breed for sure, and we'll see if.
Well, I hope I'm not dying.
More so new goalies.
Not that old, man.
What a slight. I didn't even mean it. And hopefully not a dying breed, this Conestoga team able to get into this second matchup. And, well, again, as you and Lazaro on the ends there, hockey goalies, able to forget what happened before and move into this one as if it's a new game. Hey, it's a close game. We did say 60-30, but, hey, go back on what you said. It's 50-50. Any team can win. Either one.
Okay, I'll take the 50-50 over 60-30 because that math don't add up.
Nope, not one bit.
Get you back for yesterday for actually doing some math.
How dare I?
Yeah.
And we're looking at the Val Academy team there with Yuri in our hub. And are they mid-match? And that guy's just AFK? And that would be pretty funny. I'm trying to recognize this.
Yeah.
I'm trying to recognize this. That looks like Ascent, but it also could be the aim trainer. It is Ascent, right on A Heaven at the glass room. It's what I thought it was. I should have been more confident in myself. My brain is bigger than I think sometimes. I say that. Sometimes. Not tonight. Definitely not tonight.
And then you go for dinner at Taco Bell. We don't have a dinner at Taco Bell sponsor, do we?
No, sadly
we're
not.
good. All right.
Instead, I go for some late night burritos.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Con Squad also playing tonight.
Everyone in the hub.
Showcase that. The Condors isn't just one squad. We don't just have our League of Legends team. We got everybody hanging out. Our COD squad in one of the hardest leagues right now. They're in the Super Conference for NACE. Obviously, they've had some successes, but they've also found it is a difficult time up there. But overall, I think they're having fun. They've been learning pretty well. So if you haven't caught any of the COD games, make sure to catch those when we stream some of those in the future here because it's fun seeing how they adapt and hopefully getting some wins going forward too as they do near the end of their season.
They won, correct me if I'm wrong, 2 in a row now. They beat, I did the commentary for the last matchup, and that was...
The last one was intense.
Oh, the last one was great, and I'll be real with you. That's my first time casting for them. I've watched them, of course, as I love...
You picked a good one.
I love these teams, and I got so lucky last week. Thank you to Andrew Ireland, our other caster, for not being able to show up and do that. I'll take it.
That's great.
Yeah, it's a team where they've definitely had a lot of camaraderie together. They're getting to know each other much better, and that's I'll take a page out of Willow's book. Is the Conestoga and the hub itself, it breeds a family atmosphere as everyone is so... It's not like they're friends with each other. They joke with each other. They push each other. And, they go to the limits like a family would together. And, they got each other's backs always.
Sometimes they get in fist fights like families do too.
Of course. You gotta be ready for that. We have bouncers in the hub.
Physical violence does not happen in the hub. I got to say that right now. But yeah, no, it's really cool just to have this. And you just have a bunch of other... Much like you and me, average Joe gamers hanging out around the rest of the studio as well half the time. And so it's fun. So it's really cool to be able to just feel the atmosphere throughout the day, having just anybody hanging out and playing it alongside all of your pro Condor squads as well, like our Overwatch squad.
Well, yeah, if we're talking about the Esports Hub and we're talking about all of our pro teams, we might as well give a mention to all of them, it seems like. I mean, I'm definitely going to forget a few, but we got our Overwatch squad in there playing. We got our Valorant squads in there playing.
I think Rocket League's the only one not hanging out right now.
Yeah, which is shocking, is they're usually the ones in there all the time.
Val GC squad, we have a lot of teams.
We have so many.
We actually would not be able to fit them all in here.
No, we would not, because all the other ones, of course we have our varsity games that we stream all for you guys, but we also have academy. We have a chess team. We have EA footy team of the soccer. Europeans.
We should just get rid of all of our other teams, and then we can have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, We could have like 9 Rocket League teams.
Go all in.
We're a Rocket League school now. Yeah.
Go all in.
They're not going to let that. That's not going to fly.
That's your dream.
We'll turn into Fisher.
If you ever become the president of Conestoga, the new John Tibbetts.
Yeah.
That's your first rule you're putting in.
Working my way up there, yeah. It's just Rocket League. No, I won't do that. I like a lot of these other squads too. It's diverse group of esports teams is important. And again, a reminder, our league squad sitting there on the main stage right now is a big match for them. And just to bring you back to the story is that they have a reverse sweep that they have to perform now against GMU.
Yeah, when the backs are against the wall, this is when the real performances are going to come out and who is dependable for Conestoga.
Right. Yeah, and actually they are in order. Cool. Look at us.
Hey,
we got
that.
Good. Fusion is actually just a shadow.
Don't look up.
No, what you see up there is an illusion. It's not real. It's much like 80. Everything, he's not actually here.
80's not real either.
Yeah.
It's, you see the hub, you see the fancy colors. There's been a lot of money put into this, and you may not know it, but Conestoga, one of the world leaders in holograms, looking at it right there.
Yeah, like Fusion right here. That is a hologram, ladies and gentlemen. Can you believe that? I've never seen anything like it. And I play a lot of VR chat. A lot. That's very realistic.
Sorry, VR chat and realistic in the same sentence. That got to me a little bit there. Is I've seen huge turtles and tiny knuckles running around in that game. And I mean, I you know, Fusion would look like he would fit right in with the other avatars in VR chat.
That's toxic.
You said so realistic.
You look like a giant turtle. Or Torkin Santa.
I said he looked like he belonged with them. Wait, no, that is disrespect. Oh.
Anyways, yeah. So for these guys, all fun and games aside, as they're about to get into it in just a few moments here, is they have the reverse sweep. I'm going to bring it back to the game now.
Yes.
Get serious for that, because for them this is serious. I mean, this is, while obviously an uphill battle, they have a great chance now, if they can get a reverse sweep here on George Mason University, to be able to lock themselves in for playoffs and keeps themselves in a great position in this league. Not making it is fine. They're not out of this league. They'll hold their position around mid there and not going to get relegated or anything. But you want to aim for that top as high as you can. Find out where you land by the end of it, and then work on what you need to do to aim a little bit higher next time.
And at the end of the day, they just want to keep playing. They want to live to fight another day. And again, all jokes aside, this is going to be one of the most serious. I mean, this has been one of the more serious weeks they've had just as a team. But this matchup in particular, game 2 of our best of 3 series, when this could be it. You're in the elimination game. Win or go home right here. This might be the most serious rounds that they've had all semester.
Yeah. I mean, no, legitimately, it comes down to this right now. This game, this single map is the only thing that matters to them right now. You don't think about that potential second one when it comes to a reverse sweep. You are not thinking about that. Right now for them, it is a best of 1, and you win this or you're done. You don't go forward. So there is no outside this. Their heads have to be in this game immediately right here, and they have to make sure the mistakes that were made or great plays from GMU that were made are shut down, and you play to GMU's level.
And if you go down early, you have to fight your way back up. Just because you go down does not mean the season's over, and it's going to be on them. A very good team, I will say, when it comes to not mentally beating themselves. It'll be the biggest test they've had all semester right here. And if they can keep themselves mentally in this matchup, knowing that if they lose, as you said, that's the season.
Well, you even saw it up to the end of that last map there. They were doing everything they could to continue fighting, looking for some sort of answer, trying to find a way back from a massive gold deficit. They did their best to make sure that they stayed in the game mentally. And I hope to see that regardless of which way things swing when it comes into this next game, because it's an important match. You don't stop. You go down with the fight if you're going down.
And that's Lopachinski's team right there. You know that he's going to be doing every last thing he can to be keeping them alive, as everyone on that table wants to keep going, but it's going to hit him definitely harder as a leader, and a man who's good at keeping an even mind, an even slate up top. But again, a tall order right here. When the pressure's on, we'll see how they react.
Well, this is it. For the Condors, one of the most important games, the most important moments on the Rift that they have ever faced in this semester so far, as one map win will keep them alive. One map loss will make sure that their chances for playoffs are eliminated. Up against GMU, a formidable foe. We'll see if the Condors can turn things around and turn it into a favorable map.
Again, still Conestoga looking for the first actual defeat on George Mason. They're 5-1 on the season, so Conestoga. Yeah. The pressure's on, but the motivation's right there with it too. You got Karami on mid, of course Lazaro on the top lane, your ADC and support on the bottom. That's Corm, that's Fusion, and the fight's going down right now.
Yeah, the biggest thing right now is not to be losing people early, of course. Obviously, that's something you want to avoid. But look at this too. Fusion Lopachinski also doubling up on that jungle right now, just to try to get a little bit of an early start for them. Try to make sure that if there is a deficit that makes its way into play here, that it's not going to be too hard to come back from, like map number 1. And for the Condors, they do have to make sure they're still watching their lanes, though. You see it now, Corm in Fusion down in bot with a potential snipe there from Lopachinski. First blood is going to come out for the Condors. But we have Wild, oh no, what was it, Wild Psyduck? Did I mess that up?
No,
we had two going on. Okay.
Peru went down first. Corm went down second. Peru respawned beforehand. That's the only reason I know.
Yeah, okay. I'm like,
yeah, fight's going down immediately there on the bottom of the map. Lopachinski with a really good gank there. A mini one. But he came over and was the equalizer in that fight.
And we talked about that. That bot lane is so massive. They lost that pretty early on in that last one. Now Lopachinski playing super heavy on that bot lane, and I hope, again, these picks are going to do real well for mid with Karami, for top with Lazaro, that they could be able to hold their own, and maybe we'll see a Karami help down and bot if need be, or out in the jungle with Dragon. But for now, Lopachinski really has to hover that bot lane to help out while still posturing for objectives.
Yeah, maintaining that ground is still very early on in this one. No team has had that advantage quite yet, and of course the kills 1-1. Both teams look to be locked in, as again that fight in the mid is constantly going down. You got both junglers as well for each team over there kind of sniffing around in the fight, and they're actually going down in the jungle right here. Lopachinski, Hydroshi, going one-on-one. Hydroshi low HP, Lopachinski also trying to go out there, and look at the snipe.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I don't think for GMU that they thought Karami was there too, but that's what I mentioned. Karami might start coming down to help here, and that's making a massive difference here. I mean, even this sport alone gave Lopachinski the gusto to be able to move in, but Lazaro is starting to feel a bit of that pressure. He manages to blink on out of there in the last second, but much better showing from the Condors in this map.
And that kill gave them a boon in the gold here. 4 minutes in, 6.5 to 6. We'll keep our eye on that as it moves forward. At the 10-minute mark is really when gold's going to matter the most, I feel.
Well, this is, again, the big thing will be that Dragon. It's on its way. That's what they want to posture for right now. We'll see if Lopachinski hovers around. You do see, of course, GMU posturing for that position right now. Potentially a little sneak attack too, as Corm and Fusion try to get out there. They might get cut off here. Hydroshi is going to shut down Fusion's escape. They start to pick and pull. The stun as well is going to shut down Fusion, and Corm almost being taken out of that mix as well. That is going to put the Condors in a difficult position for when that Dragon makes its appearance.
And a very effective attack up the bot lane there, able to take out the, correct me if I'm wrong, ADC for Conestoga. And that's not what Conestoga wants, but able to stay alive. Actually, I think it was Fusion going down the support there. So able to keep Corm alive is a good sign for Conestoga. He's able to maintain that turret as the Dragon has spawned. It'll be very interesting to see how Conestoga is able to handle it this time, and if they handle it better.
Wards are down, so they'll know if there's anyone hanging around there, if they start to go for it. And I'm wondering if they just pull back and don't try to go for that Dragon this early on. They want to just see, okay, maybe while we have a little bit of a lead, if we just keep GMU off of that and go for them if they try to go for Dragon, that might be the game plan.
As more fights in the jungle here, Hydroshi, Wildsider coming in on Lopachinski, and there's two
He
more
knows to
members.
get out, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a tough spot to find yourself in, and that's an enemy turret right there. He is not finding himself in a good spot all the way in no man's land.
Yeah, that was difficult. Lopachinski had the smarts to get out of there, but unfortunately not the lanes that he needed to escape that, and we do lose him there. Boy Grub's also on play, and this might be the chance where we start to see potentially GMU go for Dragon. It does look like everyone's starting to leave that alone. Grubs look to be the focus next.
Yeah, so we're still waiting for either team to get a real foothold in this game, as up through the mid here, Kurami and Fusion coming over to help that support. Maybe Kurami said he needed a little bit of help here in mid, and maybe effective as they pushed up pretty well, but coming back over. It's going to be on Conestoga to do some good stuff.
This might be smart, though, because it feels like GMU's starting to go for Grubs. They're at least hanging out there, and that might give the opening that Condors need for Dragon.
You were absolutely correct. George Mason got the Grubs.
Yeah, and Condors starting to pick away at Dragon now as well. I wonder if they're going to be able to hold a lockdown there. They're trying to take that pick off on Peru, but here's a little bit of a mini team fight. 2v2 Psyduck out of the jungle as well. Fusion is hurting desperately right now. He needs to be able to get out of there. He's not going to be able to, and that's Korm backing off at least, though we did manage to walk away with that Dragon. GMU honestly played it smart. They were able to get another pick there. That does keep them relatively even when it comes to gold. They said, we are not going to need that Chemtech right now, but for the Condors, that little extra boon is going to be massive.
Yeah, it'll be big, and if they're able, again, I'm not sure how tanky Conestoga is, but that's definitely going to help with the cause. And they're definitely going to be looking to go bottom lane here to get some pressure back on. There's so many minions out, and Fusion, Korm, Lopachinski. Lopachinski, though, has to retreat. He's on low HP.
Yeah, but look, there's going to be another from the jungle there from GMU. That might turn into a bit of a problem for us down on bot lane there. For Lopachinski, I know he wants to get involved and keep things rolling, especially with that buff that they have right now, but it doesn't seem to be just enough for him, at least at this point in the game. He'll have to scale up a little bit more.
And here we are, the calm of the game. About 8 minutes in, everyone just waiting for minions, everyone waiting for Void Grubs and Dragons. And you get a little dance here, Lazaro and Venom. Neither one even attacking each other. Venom is getting a big gold there from the minions.
Yeah. No, I mean, we had a little bit of a lead. It's starting to go in the hand of GMU just a little bit there, but I'm very curious about this push-up right now from Lazaro. From Venom. It is a little bit aggressive. He's going to channel out of there. I don't think we're going to be able to get a pick on him. But, yeah, interesting play regardless, but that bot lane is still going to be the interesting one. A much, much better game number 2 here from the Condors. They're playing it relatively smart, but they have to really stay focused to not lose that even game.
Yeah, as it was even, maybe even in Conestoga's favor to start this off, but if you look at the gold tiers, we're in 9 minutes. We're 1 minute away from that 10-minute mark. It's 14-5 to 14K. It's still very, very close. Conestoga, if they're able to get 1 kill on the board, even up immediately, so we'll see how this pans out.
The thing is, it does feel like GMU still has answers for what we've been seeing so far. They knew that Dragon was going to be a big focus for the Condors. They knew by delaying the attack on it, the Condors would eventually go for it, so they go for Grubs instead, take a little bit of a push on bot lane, get a couple extra kills. Such a smart adaptation from them if they can't go for that Dragon is to be able to play around that in multiple different lanes. GMU definitely still not an enemy that's easily beaten, but again, Condors much better position. I said at this point they were already at like a 2K gold deficit.
Well, by this point they had lost that first Dragon, and that had decided a lot of the game by that point, as Conestoga has it in their favor now. And we'll see how they react as we're just getting some more dancing in the bot lane. The minions, though, are going to be able to take a little bit of approach. Again, Lazaro, Venom, top lane. Again, lots of slow play right now. This is what we were expecting instead of that first matchup.
No, and this is what I really hope to see continue on. I do worry, again, that the fact that GMU has a lot of answers so far means there's so many chances that the Condors might get a little bit ambitious and get caught out. So we'll see what GMU's game plan is and how the Condors are going to react to next objectives when they arise. Ooh, big battle about to break out down in bot. There it is, 3-on-2. We also have Karami, though, being taken down at mid if he can't escape here. Ooh, he does able to take a pick himself here, but down on bot, it looks like we're going to be able to lose 1, 2, the final 2 remaining here. Who's going to come out on top? It might be Corm if he can get that final hit. And that turns into a good situation for Condors, pulling back from a little bit of a deficit, keeping things even when it comes to kills, and gold much closer.
Exactly. They evened up the game in kills, 6 apiece, and that got them right back in the gold game. 18K to 18K. Conestoga, that was the storm that I was telling you the calm was proceeding.
Yeah, and I like it. Both teams played it pretty smart there. Condors, while they did give up that mid, they took the players they needed down to bot, took control of bot, and walked away with a dub. Lots of trades, obviously, but they walked away 1-up over GMU, showing the GMU, hey, we're formidable right now. We're keeping toe-and-toe. We're going to be able to make sure that this goes the distance.
Go the distance. It just might, as it's been super close in this one. An opposite game as that first one, as by this point, as you like to say, it was pretty much over. And going at the Void Grubs now, Fusion, Lopachinski trying to snipe them from right underneath their noses, trying to do a little bit of what George Mason did to them, and the Dragon S-Bond, and Conestoga has it this time.
Yeah,
the first one.
The big thing, though, Karami's going to be a little bit careful there. He's holding back a little bit. Lazaro coming to try to help out. As this fight now commences, Karami is going to be able to take down Psyduck. He's been a thorn on our side in the past here. And a shutdown. As well as Lazaro needs to now watch out. He's being focused by those final 2 players there over on GMU. But Lazaro doesn't falter for any moment there. And the Condors are going to walk away with a success.
And that's the exact opposite now of what was happening in the last game. They were able to come in there and just swipe it right from out of the noses of George Mason. And just like that, Void Grubs and the Chemtech Dragon in Conestoga's favor.
Yeah, the big thing, though, what happens with the second one, I mean, taking down a player there does buy you a little bit of time, but this early on, it's not going to be a super large amount of time. And again, I'm wondering how that posturing around that next Dragon is going to be for the Condors. Caught out Lazaro. The revenge has been found for GMU. Things are still close, neck and neck right now, and Dragon does start to take some damage, and it's going to be the Condors that start to focus on it. We do have 2 GMU players, though, on their way.
And we'll have to keep our eye here on the jungle. A lot of our fights happening around the jungle area, and keeping on it is Conestoga, and the pressure just remaining on their side. They have 3. Karami might make it 4 members down there, and they get the Ocean Drake. That's 2 in their favor now. Chemtech, Ocean. Conestoga is going to be quite beefy. It's going to be quite tanky.
Well, this is the big thing, is they're going to be able to get around for objectives a lot quicker now. So the next time, honestly, balance pretty decently. I'm not sure if it'll run out before that next grub comes up, but that is going to give Lopachinski a chance to be able to support whatever lanes that he needs to support here. And you see it exactly right now. Lopachinski diving in, but he gets rooted. He's going to be shut down. Fusion says, uh-oh, we got to get out of here. And Lopachinski gone, Fusion gone, Corm also caught into it. Cloud Dragon doing them nada as Karami was a little bit too late to make his way down into that bot lane. And he's not going to be able to help them out, but maybe at least hold off a tower push.
Yeah, that bot lane just got cleaned up real quick. Oh, man, just hoovered up as 2 members down. I thought Lopachinski with the dive there into the fight was going to be able to do something else, but then you saw his health bar go from 100 to about like 25% in a blink of an eye.
A blink of an eye, and that's where you do things with trouble. And you saw Fusion 2 saying, I know we're in trouble now, trying to escape, but we might be able to get a win here for Lazaro over on Venom. He's trying to take that pick, but he's got to be careful. He feels the pressure because his tower is starting to feel that pressure as well.
His health bar too, and in my body, based on that first game, I got a sense of dread, but Conestoga has put themselves in a much better spot this game in comparison to last, whereas if that fight happens in the last game, 2 members of Conestoga go down, then I don't like it. But, you know, right now, Venom going down, Lazaro getting the kill, getting Conestoga some more golds as I don't mind the situation so much. Losing a fight, not as detrimental, it seems.
Yeah, no, this is really good, too. A bit of a poke and prod around mid, but Lazaro's going to have that space to get back to base, beef up a little bit more. Next time you come around team fight, Lazaro hopefully is going to be someone that's going to be at the forefront for you guys and making a difference when it comes to the team fights. 3 players down mid for the Condors as they try to just push this lane back a little bit. They got a good amount of damage on that first tower, and they're looking for maybe just a little bit more as another fight commences, and they dive in full right now. Full focus on Psyduck. He's eliminated. Too late is Hydroshi to be able to save his teammates. Another channeling it out there. Hydroshi says, get off of my tower. But at least we stole someone away.
Hey, we talk about short memory. Did you see who came in there? Dove in and was able to make him pay. That's Lopaczynski. Yeah. He might have died super hard the life before, but that time, easy work.
No, they picked their fight real well on that one, and they're going to be able to jungle around a little bit. Objectives should be in the hand of Condors here if they can play this right.
Lots of members in that mid lane, and Lazaro Venom going right back at it. And here we go, a huge team fight here in the mid. Conestoga is able to put some damage on, but they're taking damage themselves. It's Hydroshi and Peru able to take a lot of damage on as Lopaczynski going down for the Conestoga side.
Yeah, Lazaro's got to be careful, though. He might see some of those other players making them up there. GMU is starting to make a push to top lane as mid has a little bit of a battle itself. They're split now, as it does look like they're going to go for Grub and a mid push. They'll leave Lazaro there with Venom to fight it off here. Lazaro looking like, or sorry, Venom looking like he might not need some help. He'll go for tower as well. Lazaro, one of the rocks for the squad, losing that top lane first turret down.
17 minutes, 20 seconds into this one. Much, much different than that first one, and that's the first turret of the game. It does go in George Mason's favor, but it's not like Conestoga's out of it, as the blue team has gotten the Rift Herald. That will be good for them. As Venom, oh my goodness, a man on a mission.
Yeah, that Rift Herald is going to be potentially damaging when it comes to our towers forward now, so the Condors have to be careful. This is not, they're not a hot water yet. I mean, a little bit of a gold diff going into GMU's hands. Condors playing very smart, but that Rift Herald could spell a little bit of difference on one of these lanes if they decide to push. Venom is really starting to push up hard now. Karami is opting to help out on top, and it doesn't look like he'll have support anywhere else, as the rest of his squad looking to jungle a little bit more, looking to try to bring back that gold diff just a little bit, but they got to watch out for a fight that's potentially on their doorstep. Fusion poked him prod. Yeah, he's hurting now. Corm is there to help him out, but it's going to be not favorable for him. 3 players might be able to catch him out, but this is going to be a 3v3 now. Lopaczynski once again seeing that health bar drop really quickly. The battle is out. Lazaro this time getting stunned. He'll be CC'd. Done is he. Peru on that killing spree. Condors feeling the pressure. Corm, while he came to help out, has to run at this point.
And you said it before the game started. George Mason in that first game was really good at playing like a team, and we saw it more there. 4 members of their squad coming out and attacking Conestoga's team, and they keep the attack on as Wild Psyduck's able to take out Corm, the 4th member of that fight that they took out. And now it's just Fusion and Karami alive.
And now that Dragon's going to go into the hands of GMU. They timed that big, and this is one of those things I said, you do not count out GMU. Condors playing it significantly better than that first map, but it's those little things that make the difference. The fact that GMU played that team fight so well, and they postured so perfectly for this Dragon to spawn halfway through that, they were able to immediately convert. You always want, after a team fight that you win, to convert. And that's exactly what they just did. And that is going to give them a massive advantage now going into this late game.
Well, we can see it here as the camera swivels around to each member of their team, and they're taking out something else individually. They're just getting stronger and stronger. The kills are now 17-10 in this one. Where it was once a close game, George Mason has found their stride, and they are running fast.
Well, the big thing you notice, too, is that at that moment, that gold diff just took off for them. And while the Condors did decently well, of course, it is still GMU was hurt.
And the number one thing I get from just looking at the statistics is League of Legends not so important when it comes to the stats. The assists on the George Mason side are full. There's 9 assists for one guy and 8 assists for another one. That's team play right there.
Yeah.
Everyone is getting in on fights.
And they are getting in on some more turrets down as well. A little bit of a momentum off that last Dragon for GMU. Condors really starting to hurt. They need to work together real well on this fight here. Lopaczynski caught in the middle of it. It's going to be Karami that's eliminated, though, and Lopaczynski hoping Fusion can do anything to help him out here. But Lopaczynski, Korm, both pushed off the fight, and Psyduck is going to be able to walk away unscathed, as is the rest of that GMU squad.
It's going to take a lot of teeth gritting and shoulder bearing for Conestoga to get back into this one, as they were pushed all the way back to their own spawn, and they were able to effectively come together and counter the attack. Thank goodness they were, because that looked like that could have spelled disaster for Conestoga if the attack from George Mason was any better and the defense was any shoddier.
Not out of it yet, but significantly feeling the pressure. This is starting to feel a little bit more like what we saw before, and man, it really is GMU just playing such a tight game. The Condors played so tight up to this point too, but that one team fight turned the battle. That Rift Herald as well, that last Dragon there turned the tides significantly for GMU, and the Condors are definitely going to be shaking their fists at the sky after that. It's so infuriating for just maybe one little mistake or one tight play from GMU to be able to turn it like that.
Well, that's what I always like to say, is when you get games of teams these high caliber, it's whoever makes less mistakes than the opponents, and GMU able to make less mistakes. They ended up taking out Lazaro and Venom here, switching over to the bottom lane and making no mistake about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, the thing is, it really feels like, someone else could probably tell me wrong, but it feels like it came down to simply that one team mistake of when they picked that fight down by Dragon recently, right after Rift Herald went down, because that turned the battle, and now potentially losing Baron. Can they get a steal? They definitely wanted to come in for it here, but they're not going to be able to find any success around that Baron. And for GMU, at least it did stop them, slow them down a little bit, but losing all your players as a result, Condors, is the trade worth it? Because they're still going to go for Baron.
Yeah, kill is going on the board. Fusion down, Karami down for Conestoga, and they go right back over. This is just not good. There's no other way to describe it. It's not good. They got all of the advantages in their favor, George Mason.
Yeah, with both top and bot pushed so deep onto the red side, this Baron is just going to make that pressure so much more unbearable that, I mean, you know a channel's coming out. Condors are, as they respawn, going to have a few moments to try and push back a little bit. But these next team fights are going to be the big difference. If Condors can win this next team fight and take down at least 2 players without losing any of their own, then they might be able to pull this back. The problem is just with that Baron buff, I just don't know if that's going to happen and how well GMU's playing.
It's just been such a... As soon as it stopped being close, it was a landslide from there, as this was neck and neck, neck and neck, neck and neck, until it wasn't. And then from that point on, George Mason, once they got ahead, they haven't looked back. It's... Yeah, Conestoga's just down.
The thing, too, is I don't even know if they went for the channel or if they just got back quick enough here. Wasn't paying enough attention, but it feels like they may have faked out that channel, opted not to, just to stay in the fight, knowing the Condors would start to push up, maybe for some of this jungle. And now they're catching them off guard rather than going for an extra buys.
And if you look at the mini-map there, all the turrets are just so much so in George Mason's favor, where it's going to be hard for Conestoga to get those counterattacks in. But here we are, fight at the drag, and there's 4 members of Conestoga. Make it 5. Everyone's here in the battle. Karami goes down first, Korm goes down second, and here's the power scaling, just in George Mason's advantage. More people going down. We have a godlike 3 members of Conestoga down. That was part of a double kill as Fusion, Korm, Karami, Lopaczynski all down. Lazaro, the last member here, trying to get some kills on his way out, and he will get 1. He'll get 2 on Wild Psyduck and Hydroshi, but not enough for Conestoga. They get aced.
Yeah. This not looking good at this point. You feel that what good work the Condors had done in the early to mid game does feel like it's now starting to be erased as the inhibitors come under attack, and the Condors, while being dead, are going to find it probably a little bit difficult to defend.
Just a little bit. They're looking around in the hub around them, looking at the walls, and the writing is on them. The game, it's on its very, very last legs here as the gold differential is 55K to 41K. Unfortunate that George Mason, when they found their stride, Conestoga couldn't do anything to stick a twig between their legs and trip them up.
Yeah.
Just couldn't. They couldn't get that one little piece that they needed to keep them in the fight, and now here we are.
Again, I talk about it has to be team fights, but we're seeing a lot of the Condors split up yet again as they try to get those split pushes on the lanes, try to get as much jungle as possible to really bring themselves back into this. But on the way out, GMU doing what they should, clearing up as much as that red side jungle as possible to make sure the Condors just can't get themselves back in the game when it comes to this gold diff.
And at this point in the game, when most of the things in the jungle have been cleared out and most of the things on the map are not so much in Conestoga's favor, getting that gold diff back in your favor, even at all, is just such a tall order. And I'm not sure how many inhibitors are down, but it's definitely not looking good for Conestoga. At least the top one is.
Not at all. You see him channel back to try to take this last final fight here. Again, in it till the end, the Condors are, but team fight here has to go in their favor. Last inhibitor down, and now the Condors are going to be in the middle of this battle here, and CC just locking them in. They can't do anything as we almost lose Lopaczynski. They managed to push themselves back to the backside of their base here, but I just don't know what they can do. Look at the hellfires of GMU. It's just overwhelming. The Condors keeping them at bay. We'll lose one. Fusion is down, and the rest, I don't know what they could do here because Baru is dominating, Venom is dominating, and GMU overall is dominating. The Condors at this point are all but finished with just one remaining. Corm can probably not do what he needs to do to be able to shut it down, but he does manage to keep him at bay.
That was
Corm,
insane.
what?
Until the very last minute, Conestoga stays fighting, and that's what you can take from this. It's that no matter what it is, Conestoga knows that this is one of their last opportunities with League of Legends this year. Corm able to clutch up, and hey, the team ace going in Conestoga's favor that time.
Well, I know that moment could have been much hyper if you didn't have stupid brain like us, because what did Corm just do?
That's an excellent question. I mean, it was a whole team fight. 5 members of Conestoga in there, all fighting together, shoulder to shoulder, and that's exactly what you hope for as we're here again in the same situation. Backs are against the wall. It's going to be on them to stay together as a unit, calms up, knowing where they're defending, where they're sending bodies, where they're going, where the enemies are coming from. And so far, they're clearing their way out as this is as close as it gets to the match being over. Without it being over, Conestoga, hey, you can never count them out. That's all I'm going to say.
I don't know how they're still in this. Corm clutched it up for the squad and keeps them at bay. But again, GMU is right back at your doorstep. They don't need to knock anymore because they have completely destroyed the doors. And now they're looking to plant a little TNT in the middle of your household and shut the whole thing down. And that's exactly what they're doing. Chipping away at your heart. And it is stabbed. It's gone. The Condors fall. But a valiant effort in those final moments. Some displays of heroics. But unfortunately, the hero falls at the end of the story.
And it was a good season. It was a very good season. And just like that, it's all wrapped up. And hey, lots to be proud of moving into the second semester.
I have to say, the adjustments made in the last one, while it got away from them at the end, the adjustments made definitely kept that into a series that was something that you wanted to watch. It wasn't just another map one that was out of control.
Well, that second one went 30 minutes, did it not? Like, that was really intense the whole way through. And just, again, I said it on stream, and I'll say it now, is that was so even. And you said it, that team fight It was the break moment for Conestoga.
Yeah, this overall was intense. We have to finalize the story by saying that they, of course, lose their opportunity to clinch into the playoffs here. But it wasn't going to be an easy battle. GMU only having that one loss on their 4-1 record, which is now a 5-1 record, because of a forfeit for a match that they just couldn't play. They thought that they definitely were just not going to be, I guess, in that position to be able to take them down. I mean, they had the belief, but GMU, they knew that they were one of the best in this league overall.
Yeah, and so very good effort there from Conestoga, unable to pull it out there. They get 2-0 swept, and we got a little bit more coming up later.
Yes, that is very true. So I believe at this point we're going to throw it to a break, and then after that we're going to be able to stream some of our COD games. You saw it in the facility over there. We have a lot of our esports teams playing, so if you do want to stick around for some COD, stay tuned. Cove, thank you for joining me for this League of Legends match. But again, COD on the other side. Whoa, you're still there? We're still here. You know why?
A little bit of Call of Duty time.
Oh, you're supposed to say why.
Oh, I know the answer, though.
Okay, but pretend you don't.
Okay, go from the top.
You're back. We're still here.
What?
You know why?
No, why?
Because of Call of Duty. Also, you just lied to them. You knew why. Got him. Call of Duty time. We got our varsity squad. We did, of course, because with the League of Legends match did go so long there, we missed their first map. So I want to give a little bit of update here on this in just a moment. First off, let's probably talk about them. You can see them hanging out in the facility there. But let's talk about, of course, the roster, because this is a 5-man roster generally for these guys. But I know they're going to get next into the map here, so I don't know if we just have their pop up here. But I'm going to talk about them. Is generally Savvy is being kind of swapped in and out today. Today, Savvy is going to be sitting on the outside of this, right? So, oh yeah, we got the fancy stuff. They want to roll it. I guess there's enough time. So take a look at the fancy photos we got of them. So as I was saying, Savvy is out today. It's going to, yeah. So our roster has been stepped up by Neb, of course, Frizzy a long time to the roster, J-Ray as well, and then Dremo going to be our last player on the roster. We saw last week Dremo popping off. We saw J-Ray popping off. We saw every single one of the pop, Savvy even, but he's out today. So every single one of these players can play and play well for the squad. But today, it seems like it's gone well for them. The update, I don't know if you want to give the update here on that first map, if you heard as J-Ray passed by.
Ooh, it was very good. And something that, you know, from what I've been told from Willow, one of our other commentators, doesn't happen too often. Big 250 to 92 win for Conestoga. Oh, yeah.
That hard point going very much in our favor. Now, coming up next, obviously, is going to be our S&D. And we didn't get a chance to see the maps. So if we have those, that would be awesome to see. But going on to hard point, J-Ray actually did say we actually could lose this S&D. So I guess there's a little bit of respect towards their opponents here, and Minnesota, I believe, that what they bring on S&D might be something a little of our reach. But the thing is, our squad has been practicing and doing well at S&D.
Oh, exactly. And so we'll have to see what they do. And, of course, being humble, as that's something that, you know, Conestoga is very good for. A lot of our players, while they know they're good, they don't gas themselves up. And they said they could lose this, but we'll have to see when we get in there, as they were pretty happy about how the hard point game went. The biggest thing that I'm going to be looking for is, I did say, unfortunately, we were going to lose a member, but for the Call of Duty team, anyone can slot in and it will work out for them. So I'm not too worried at all that it should be Frizzy taking over for the game today.
Yeah. Well, again, so Frizzy, Dremo, J-Ray, and Neb are going to be our roster here today. Again, all 4 of these players know how to play really well. Frizzy, if you can let him loose, that's a player you got to watch out for. J-Ray, a phenomenal lurker. If you got him on the outside, generally more, again, in your control and hard point situations, you'll see J-Ray trying to take around a lot of those spawn controls, or at least trying to get some of those flanks. Dremo, very much a fantastic objective player for us, so hopefully we'll see him stay alive to the end of the rounds here. But again, I'm not entirely unconfident if they can win a hard point that intensely that they're not going to be able to take this S&D. I mean, maybe it's just J-Ray being humble, but he said it's possible. But the fact that we head to Invasion on this search and destroy, I would say I think we could take this, but I guess we'll have to find out as we get into the game.
Yes, these are the intense rounds here in Call of Duty when there's no respawn, so every last shot that you hit matters more. Of course, you do get the regenerating health, so, you know, it's not the end of the world if you do get some damage done, but it will matter if you go down, and we'll see here as it looks to be a little bit of a B site take.
Yep. The purple guys, I guess they got a little ram as their logo. Minnesota on the other side, looking towards that B plant, but already down 2 players, bomb down 2. It's going to be a little harder. We do lose Frizzy in the middle of that fray. But honestly, decent position. Look at this lurk right now. I talked about J-Ray. He's leading the charge with Dremo right now. And they're looking for this player hiding out up in the top level there. Unfortunately, J-Ray loses the fight. Dremo comes in with the pistol to clean it up. Now you've got a 2v1 pincer attack with that bomb on B.
And that's exactly, you draw up a perfect trade situation here, but it looks like we might actually see them. They're camping behind the bomb, and there it is. Bomb planted at B. Both members of Conestoga playing a little bit more conservatively, fighting for this exact situation. Coming in and able to take it is Neb, and gets the defuse off. That was exactly as they drew it up. Let them get the plant, and we'll come to the retake.
I mean, once they had that pincer, I mean, sure, they lost J-Ray on that flank, but once they had that pincer, it became really hard for that last Minnesota player to be able to lock that down. And as long as they're winning those gunfights, they came into that plant with an upper hand, like a 3-2, and then down to a 2-1. If they can keep that extra man each round, they should have this one on lockdown too.
And we'll see what Minnesota State University of Morocco can do here. Mercado, one of the two.
Minnesota of Morocco.
That's just where their campus is located. The university, Minnesota State University, quite rich with their expansion.
Hey, you know what? If North America can have a bunch of European places, then why can't Morocco take some places from around the world too?
Exactly, and we see here Conestoga on the attacking side going right back over to that B site. Of course, the trophy system being used there. It's going to be on Conestoga without a util, and J-Ray unable to see under the tracks of the tank, and 2 kills going down immediately for the Minnesota side. 3 make it.
Quite an interesting lockdown here from Minnesota. They got that B site from some very interesting angles. At least Neb takes down a spear up, and he's looking for another. Sees one on the far side, but the opts not to move through. That would have been a very tough movement to go through without taking any shots on here. But while we still have a player alive, it doesn't feel plausible, especially with one of those Minnesota players hanging up by the tire tracks. They got angles locked down.
They got so many angles, and they have the bomb is the other thing. You know, it doesn't look like they have anyone avidly watching the bomb, but of course, Neb doesn't know that. He thinks that this bomb is being absolutely stared at, and the moment he picks it up, he's going to be in the lines of fire.
Yeah,
he doesn't know.
There's not really much he can do there. I mean, like, he's got 16 seconds to make his way to the bomb and go. I don't think he can do that. He just doesn't want to give them an extra kill. I mean,
doesn't look like it.
No, that's a smart thing. I mean, like, if you're not going to win this anyways, don't give them any kills.
Yeah, I mean, in other games like Valorant and CS, that would be known as a save, but of course there's no economics in this one. More so just a morale thing, I guess.
Well, kill streaks.
Oh, didn't think about those. The score streaks, the UAVs, the care packages.
Yeah.
I mean,
you keep your guns, but yeah, you don't want to be giving, I guess, your ult points away to your opponents. Yeah, so smart save there. Smart not dying from Neb.
Smart save of your own life, we'll say.
Yeah, you know you're not going to make it through that one.
And then, yeah, I didn't even think about the score streaks, but we have seen those on display. I've seen Conestoga launch a few. I've seen Conestoga had a few launched against them, so it'll be on them. The defense here, Dremo gets taken over early.
This is some aggressive play from Minnesota. They really like to get up in your face, and even on that B-site hold, just to be in positions you're not expecting them. So I wonder how the Condors are going to be able to handle this here. Neb looking for a kill. 3 players turned the corner on him, and he got out of there just in time. And I wonder how he's going to find his way back around the other side. He's got Frizzy. They need to work together.
Yeah, 4v2 is not what you want to see, and 3 members all sliding around the corner. Neb getting the first kill there. A 3v2, much more manageable. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, much more manageable, especially when they have both sides locked down. They're going to be able to get the information. Look at this one right now. The flank up here from Frizzy. He drops another 2v2. He's got to watch, though, outside the burning truck there. He saw him. He got sight of him. Fluid, watch out. Here comes Frizzy. And now it's down to a 2v1. Then they can go for the defuse if they can find out where Spirip is.
They do have the man advantage now. A 4v2 turning into a 2v1 for Conestoga. It's going to have to be covered by Neb. Unable to get the body there, but turns the corner and gets shot anyways.
Yeah, that is so unfortunate. I thought that he had the information. You thought as that Spirit player jumped over the railing here that he had it, just couldn't.
That's good defense. He held on to the site, didn't panic, and Conestoga, a really good comeback opportunity, but that opportunity just barely dashed, and they're going to be on the attacking side now.
And that's really hard, too, because do you make that jump so early? You already know your last teammate just got shot, and your opponent probably isn't reloading at that point. Maybe that's what he tried to catch him off on.
Tried to go for the trade.
You got to mix up that timing just a little bit. He was ready in ADS for that.
He also went and jumped around the corner there when a slide would have given him a lot more room to take that gunfight. But hey, that's hindsight. Yeah. That's hindsight. It's neither here nor there. We're in a new round now, and Conestoga is down 2-1 here in Search and Destroy. It's going to be on them to come back and forget about what just happened as J-Rays, the first kill of the round, as well as Frizzy, as well as Neb, just one after another, getting gunned down.
Yeah, unfortunate. Honestly, positioning the Condors found themselves running through open corridors and losing their lives left, right, and center. They definitely have to clean that up, and I guess maybe I'll believe J-Ray a little bit here that, okay, maybe they can lose it, but after a first round 1 win, it definitely felt like, you know, they had this potentially in the bag here, but
I mean, I could tell you right now that there's been at least 2 rounds that I think Conestoga could have won, and they just haven't. I mean, there's not that last round. That last round, they got pretty I'm going to say Minnesota took it to them pretty hard there. But the round before, they had a very good chance to win that one. And then I think 2 rounds previous to that. But here we are, 3-1 down. Conestoga on the defensive side. And they're going to have to get some early kills to get themselves back into this one. Unable to, but close to it, Dremo.
Yeah, Dremo wanted that pick. Unfortunately, not enough bullets landed. Maybe 1 or 2 more. Trophy's out around mid here just to prevent any push from our opponents. Nice. First kill there for Frizzy, yeah. And this is a great hold, though, for them because now, with bomb down, Condors know exactly where they need to hang out.
And so we'll have to wait and see here as the game coming down. And, of course, Dremo holding this mid-tank position around the bomb. We got some gunshots going down and some gunshots going as well, but unable to get any more kills. J-Ray, though, picks it up on the flank. You're telling us that he likes that lurk.
Yep. No, he'll be that player that finds his way around behind you, catches you off guard here as the rest of them hold position. Dremo, exactly that player. Great objective holder. And that's what he's doing, locking down mid by tank right now. The other 2 have to find their way over to him. But look at over on that B site. Neb is watching B long to make sure that Klinger can't make his way up there. And he shuts him down immediately. That's watching Dremo's back. They all have each other. When you're up a player like that, you get that first early kill and it's bomb. Yeah, you know how to lock down. They played it clinical.
I told you that there was a very good chance that they find their way back into this one. It just took a little bit cleaning up to do, and clean up, we just saw there's Frizzy ending the round hot there for Conestoga. And I was telling you, man, is that they were close. They had opportunities to take rounds that they lost, and we just saw it there, maybe the comeback attempts that they need.
It's the early kills and also not, especially knowing the positioning that Minnesota has right now, stop running down open lanes like this, even if you think it's clear, because they do have a lot of those crosses covered. So for Condors, just don't get that early pick on you guys, and I think you're good. If you can get early pick, they know how to play that foundational game, and there's that early pick for the Condors.
You're just talking about it, and we see it on display there. J-Ray finds himself in a good spot, an unexpected spot, and that's a very effective lurk. And he keeps lurking. Well, we're watching Frizzy here as Dremo goes down to Fluid. And Frizzy's also on a lurk as Neb has the bomb.
Yeah, they're going to go for a B-side push here. I'm not entirely sure what they want to do. We have Frizzy watching A-Long. He's going to make his way around. And now they're going to go for that B-site plant. Yeah.
Neb felt the confidence to be able to go and take the site and skirting around that outside. Didn't see a single other soul and was able to get the bomb down. It's going to be on the 3 remaining members of Minnesota to face off against our 3 remaining members here on the bomb site with the bomb ticking down.
Well, what the Condors are going to want to do right now is make sure no flank comes around. That's exactly what Frizzy's looking out for there. But unfortunately, on site, we almost have a push. 2 of the Minnesota players drop down. Klinger and Blazy, last one eliminated as well. Condors, again, set up very well. You saw Frizzy watching the flank. You had another player watching them on site for that cross that they would have had to make. Great setup for defense.
There was no chance of getting onto that site without getting seen by at least one Condor. And that's exactly how you want to draw it up. And they completely calmed down. Those first 4 rounds felt like they went bang, bang, bang. And then these last 2, Conestoga taking it right back in their favor.
The big thing right now is they're just watching each other's crosses. They have those cross lines all locked down, and when you watch each other's back like that, you're going to catch your opponents off guard.
And that's exactly what we saw in that last round as Conestoga. Now on the defending side, they've been effective on attack. They've actually won defense and attack in their last round, so who's to say that they can't win another one?
Push, hard push towards B right now. They got to be careful. Nice drop shot. No, he gets taken out there. We do get 2 back, though. J-Ray on Fluid and Spear up. And that puts us into the lead here with a 3-2 advantage. Bomb still over by A, and we got control of docks. So honestly, in a real good position to lock down A. Look at our B site covered by Neb as well.
That's just good work there by J-Ray, staying calm and able to gun down 2, even though Dremo was shot in very close proximity. It did not matter, and as you said, the defense from Conestoga good, but Frizzy getting forced out of that spot.
The second that they see them over by tanks, look at the repositioning by the Condors. The second they get that information, they start to swarm, relocate, and make their way towards where they saw those players last. And now all 3 can start to lock in. Neb laying down. He's not going to see the other one, though. He might get eliminated. That is exactly what's going to happen. But there's still going to be 2 Condors there. Bomb down. Condors taking down that last Minnesota player.
And this has just been effective Call of Duty play, and you saw it. And you saw it immediately on the minimap there. The footworking, the re-movements, the moving around, and it was so effective as no one on Minnesota knew where a single bullet was getting fired at them from.
This is cohesion. This is teamwork from the Condors right now. Honestly, I'm super happy with what I'm seeing. Sure, they dropped a few rounds from some silly catch-outs. I think they just weren't expecting some of this positioning from Minnesota. But the second they realized what was going on, they started playing a little bit smarter. You said it, slower, to just get these nice setups to make sure they're watching any of these odd crosses Minnesota might have.
And so here we are, Conestoga back on the attack. All 4 members looking to get something going here as the bomb is going down to B, but you see it rotating back over to the middle of the map. We'll see if Spur Up is going to be able to shut anything down, or Conestoga is going to be able to get on him as there's 1 kill there, but J-Ray shuts him down, and J-Ray has a chance for 2. We'll see what he can do here.
Great call-outs there, too, to make sure J-Ray can turn around through smoke, gets the kill, and that puts them into a decent spot, but unfortunately, we're going to lose J-Ray now in the midst of that fight. 2v3 Condors with bomb. They have an uphill battle here. It's definitely going to be up to Minnesota to throw this one, because with that player advantage on defense, you're in a good position.
They found themselves in this spot before, a 4v2 before, and it almost worked out for them this time on the attacking squad. We'll see if they're able to do it. And Frizzy, as he's planting the bomb, unable to get it down, and it's all going to be on Neb once again.
Yeah, this is not going to be very easy. If he gets swarmed here, yeah, watch that backside. If he pushes out, he's done so. But he gets the reload. He's expecting a player at least to be around. That pre-fire, he needs to get the heck out of there. Otherwise, he's just going to lose his life. He's not going to get a bomb plant, but he wants the kills.
Hey, I respect the attempt there. He was trying to find a different angle of attack, and all of the different angles he was taking just were getting shut down. Minnesota using their main advantage extremely effectively, and it'll be on Conestoga. Now it's a new game, first to 2 wins.
That's the thing, too. Watch how the Condors, when they play defense, it's a little more spread out, and like those longs are using those ARs effectively. With Minnesota, it's so odd. They just love to swarm immediately the second they get a player advantage.
Well, they had 3 guys there, all at mid, and 2 of them were looking at the 1 door there. And, of course, what I got to give a shout-out to Minnesota is they stayed pretty conservative on their holds. Yeah. No one overextended.
Yep. Yeah, their holds their angles are very interesting, and definitely giving the Condors a bit of a run for their money. But now on defense, we're in a good position. And honestly, the way the map rotation's going right now, if we can keep just winning defenses, we win this. And that's an interesting hold as well. Not expected there by J-Ray.
I mean, hey, you're talking about interesting holds. He's just sitting on a chair there waiting for the bus to show up.
It showed up late. Thankfully for him, otherwise it wouldn't have been there, and we would have had J-Ray moving on through. Trevor around the corner has got to be so careful. He's trying to just bait out some fire. Maybe, opens the door. It's going to give away a lot of information. Bomb is gone. Another on him that he didn't expect. The swarm of Minnesota there again. That defensive loss is actually massive, because now at match point there for Minnesota, they're going to be able to play through on defense going forward, which is where you want to be.
Yeah, typically the advantageous side, it'll be on Conestoga to do what Minnesota just did. Take those weird angles, be in spots you don't expect the enemies to see you, and hey, at the end of the day, win your gunfight.
Well, again, and now on the defending half, Minnesota with that advantage of playing defense. Condors have to work some magic here. I mean, Minnesota just did it. You guys do it too. I wonder if they're going to try to take their tactics, play a little swarm themselves. Looks like they are just going to go for a bit of a B push.
Yeah, they're coming in a little hot and heavy here. Of course, keeping the bomb in the far back is we got to keep our eyes on the Minnesota team. No one really looking to flank, but of course, Spur Up has a chance to make something happen here.
Look at Neb with the bomb, though. He's keeping options open right now. They aren't full committing to that B Street push. They don't know and don't have enough information really to know if anyone is there lurking those corners. They got a trophy system out, though, so they do know there's going to be a bit of a difficult time to get over there, but a little bit of a poke. Another around the corner. He knows. Instinct from Frizzy. And great first tag there. The problem is, are they going to lose a player before being able to make that push? Watching the backside. Great from J-Ray. Frizzy with another. This is the pullback that you were looking for.
And Frizzy had a fantastic life there, able to get one kill on the site and then immediately get another as Condors. You were worried about that round, but here we are, 5-5, and the next round it will be the winner.
Yes, no, they had to hold that back, and being able to pull that on defense, yeah, this is great for them.
And that's what you're talking about there. The ARs on display, holding those angles, those long cross angles, and we saw it on display. There was no chance of that man, whether or not it was going to be, I think it was Neb there that got the kill or someone else. They were going down Conestoga. When they find themselves in that advantageous position, they exploit it. Let's just say that much.
Well, here it is. Match point down to a best of one at this point. Thankful for us, we got defense. Or sorry, we're on attack. So we're back on attack. Wait, did I? Oh,
no, re-ups, I think, for the overtime period.
You're right. Okay.
And, you know, after the last round, I don't mind being back on attack, but it's going to be on Conestoga here in this similar angle as before, especially him, Frizzy, to take down some Minnesota State members, and I almost got a sense of deja vu.
Interesting push out there from Frizzy. Super ballsy, but I love the cross because it's going to give him a chance to potentially get that flank. Yes, that's exactly what he's looking for. I want to see if Frizzy can keep this up because he's in such a crazy position right now. But he is waiting for another push. There's a second one from him. Amazing cross from Frizzy. That just allowed him to light up the opponents. He's going to do it himself. And the Condors walk away with the map that they thought they might end up losing. And to be fair, it was close.
That got down to the final round. And, Frizzy, dare I say, single-handedly taking that round for Conestoga. Yes. A huge triple. And, of course, as you said it, that aggressive push.
The fact that you went for the cross there, keeping that pressure on by continuing to pre-fire was massive heads-up play from Frizzy. Because if he tries to cross without taking extra shots there, then they're gonna peek again and try to take shots. You're in the wide open, you're done. Like, you're just dead at that point. But the fact that he used his movement skills to be able to cross that gap, take a poke, take a little push out. The second he thought he might push again, another poke, show, look, I'm still here, I'm still watching this angle, then makes that final push. They don't know he's made that cross at all. They have no idea Frizzy is in the building beside them.
And the moment he gets in that building, round over, basically. As he's able, he got the one through the window. As you were mentioning, he has a huge flank opportunity. Almost on cue, he got the kill. And then the last two members I don't even think they stepped foot on the bomb site.
Yeah, no, they just had... They were stuck. They were held back. Yeah,
it was great.
That was actually that was fun to watch. Frizzy, yeah, he clutched that one up. We got to give him the credit for that final round.
No, and a very good one, going down right to that final minute. And hey, Leaf, why don't you tell us a little bit about the standings?
Yeah, right now they're for us, it's been a hard season. That's for sure. It's definitely not been easy. And I think at this point, I thought they told me they were tied before, but I guess that's not the case here, unless one of their numbers is missing from Minnesota. But being able to get the head-to-head over them, obviously, is phenomenal if they do have another match after this. But being able to get multiple wins in a row against some of these squads in this conference is huge. I mean, this is the big thing. We're not looking at a Condor squad that's barely hanging on. We're looking at a Condor squad that's in the Super Conference, the best of the best. Some of these players, I believe, like pro level, to be able to now start to pull back your scoreline and potentially walk into a 3-5 on your season, this is great for them.
And we saw it already. Well, we didn't see it in the first match, but we've seen it already in that search and destroy map as they came out with confidence. And to give themselves maybe a third win on the season, get that one step closer to 500 in the Super Conference, as you mentioned, that's, you could be super proud of that. And while they have had a lot of really tough losses in these last few weeks, the wins have been right there with them. And I will say, when they do win, it's very, very, very clean. It's very good games. I mean, last week it was close, but it was fun. And that might be the number one thing. It's so much fun.
You're looking at Frizzy and J-Ray locked in right now. They're ready to kick some butt. We saw the usual trash talk from Frizzy out in the hallway, which means he's ready to go, ready to have some fun. And for the rest of the squad, I think this is just a big, important match for them. They realized very early on, they came in with a lot of confidence, but realized there's a bit of a ways to go for them and a bit of work that needs to be put in. And I think that humbled them early on. And now it's been very much a lot of motivation for this squad to actually start making a difference, especially when it came to communication. And I think, I'm not going to lie, I feel, maybe they tell me it's not good after this, but I feel as if communication's looking pretty solid today because they are transferring knowledge immediately and you're seeing it in action.
That's what I was going to say is we saw it fully in that last matchup there is how much they had each other's backs. You said it. I'm almost verbatim is how well they had each other's backs. And that comes with communication. You don't have each other's backs if you can't tell them they're exactly here on the map. And, of course, as Willow, one of our commentators, Mute Chaos, has told us, they spend a lot of time together. They spend a lot of time learning each other's strategies, and that's why they're able to plug and play any player, and it's still effective.
And that's the big thing, too. I mean, bringing in player like Neb, you see him in the middle of the screen there. He's got brought in one of the players with the most experience here, and he really wanted to work on communication with the squad. I mean, that was one of his big things, is being able to actually talk, even not in the map, but outside the map, and being able to actually talk about things they need to fix and do it in a way that's constructive is a very important thing. And I think there was a big reckoning for them last week to say, guys, we got to get it in order. We gotta set this up, and I think we're seeing the results of that here as we move into our next map.
Yeah, we'll have to see if the results continue. They won the first 2 rounds, but now for the third map, correct me if I'm wrong, Karachi?
Karachi.
Yes, and Leaf, let us know a little bit of what we can expect moving on here. Karachi up 2-0, so they have confidence.
Oh, Karachi into control, especially the way they've been playing, I think is a real good sign that we're going to be walking away with a potential 3-0 here. Because, I mean, this map in general is a map that they have a lot of experience. I mean, any team does, but what I love is that we've seen them really experimenting with different strats around whether they're pushing A site, whether they're pushing B site. You want to capture both. We haven't seen, they have 30 lives. We haven't actually seen those lives run out significantly. There were a couple better teams earlier on in this season that we've seen run the Condors out of their lives. We've seen the Condors do that when they were in the previous conference, but up in Super Conference, it's been a lot harder. So it's been about those sites, being able to take all 3 ticks on your A site or all 3 ticks on your B site and being able to flop between those two. Defenders have a good spot to shut the attackers down. Condors, though, have been doing a good job of mixing it up. You got 2 ticks on A. Let's throw it in. We think that our opponents are watching that A site now. Let's throw up a little mix-up lurker over to B. Pull them off at A site, get maybe a tick over there. Sure, we'll lose our guy and a life, but then we can go back and take A again. So I really think it's going to be good for the Condors on this.
That's what I was going to say about last week is in their control games, it went well for them as a lot of the times, I'm not sure if it was on Karachi or not, but that A site, that middle site likes to get taken the most, and Conestoga, midway through control, decided, now we're going to go to B first and get B and then target A as A a little bit more open.
Yep.
They found that once B was out of the way, they were able to attack it from every single angle, and that paid off dividends for them in that game.
It's all about the mix-ups. I mean, the second that you think your opponents have caught on to you and found a habit, mix it up. Or already set up those habits with the intention of mix-ups later. Go into each round with a bit of a strat. Now, there's less rounds than S&D, of course, but you still have that chance to get them used to certain pushes through multiple rounds. So for the Condors, I think they just stick to their game, though, at this point. I mean, gunfight-wise, yeah, they're losing a couple here and there. But overall, I think the fundamentals that the squad has, especially with what it looks like a new cohesion lined up with how they already knew how to play this map and mode, I think they could be in a... They just got to play their game, really.
Yeah, and they got to stick together. And that's what won them the last game there on Search and Destroys. They were able to stick together, and when one member of Conestoga went down, they immediately got the trade, and a lot of the times we found that they didn't even need to get the trade as they were able to shoot them, the Minnesota State guy, before they even got to Conestoga, which that's the key, and they have to keep that going.
Yeah, I mean, again, this one, there's going to be some times where they definitely don't mind sacrificing a player. You got a lot of lives. You get respawns, S&D, you don't. But here, it really is going to be about that positioning. I mean, they want to, especially if they do cap A site and then move on to B site, I'm really hoping that they're going to feel confident enough to be able to get that lurking player around through alley to the garbage dump ledge and see if they can start to pick up a couple free kills behind. We'll see, of course, how Minnesota handles that. They might be ready for that. But if the Condors are the better team here, they should be able to find themselves in that position. But they might have to go through bus most of the time to get over B. But again, they have those chances for a mix-up. They might make their way to B first and really throw off the scent of Minnesota. I'm intrigued actually more to see how Minnesota handles this, because the oddities that we've seen out of them so far, while it works a little bit, the better team's going to come out on top, aka the Condors. I do want to see what kind of strats they maybe pull when they're on attack.
Well, we saw it in Search and Destroy. They loved to stay clumped together.
Yeah.
And
is it? Wait, well, hold on.
It's
I'm
Magic
sorry.
time, just so you know. You might have missed it.
Remember the card? Okay, I remember the card.
He already did one.
Yeah, it was I think that was that 4 clubs or hearts? Either way, I remember it.
He already did one trick earlier, got everyone laughing and clapping. So we'll see if he's able to pull it off again. Look at the shuffle on display. He looks like Chamber
I'm watching
from
him.
Valorant.
I actually did these false shuffles. I did.
Yes.
I did a lot of Magic growing up, actually. Okay, he's going for a full shuffle, but he could also have controlled the card to the top or the bottom there. I think I actually may have seen it at the bottom. No, I didn't. Okay, I don't think he's actually doing a Magic. I think he's just shuffling now at this point. I think that was the real sleight of hand, is that we thought he was doing a Magic trick.
He's like, is this your card? No, I'm just shuffling this.
That would actually be great. Just walking to someone, hey, pick a card. Cool, you remember it? Thanks. And then just like start shuffling and do nothing.
Just in front of them.
You just kind of stand there, look away though, off into the distance. See how long until they. That's actually hilarious.
I think that's direct eye contact might make that peak.
That's a YouTube video waiting time. Okay, I remember the card. Okay.
Oh, well,
King Hearts. No, it's King Hearts.
Yep. Okay. King Hearts.
Show us here. I'm gonna see if I can
shuffle
call him out there. Yeah, it's gonna be harder because we're at a weird angle for him. He's going for a double lift.
Hey, that's
totally not obvious double lift. I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything.
That's a magician who knows he's been fooled. So would that make you Penn Jillette and I'm Teller? They can't fool us.
No, you talk too much. Right? Yeah. Okay. Oh, you silent for the rest of the cast now?
I'll just nod my head. No, I can't do that.
Yeah.
That's too hard for me.
Okay, I see. Okay, ace of
spades.
Yeah.
Ace of spades.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Showing it to everyone.
Cool. I love it. Yeah. I see it. Control the card. Yeah, it's at the bottom. Yeah, because he just pulled it down with his pinky.
The best part is he blew it though. He blew it.
Oh my!
He blew it. So now it's Magic.
Now, hey, I will say, I'm gonna give it to him. His sleight of hand was better on that one. Well, I'll give him credit for that one.
That's a pity vote. That's pity.
Hey, no,
pity points.
He almost fumbled a little bit, but that would actually probably fool most laymen.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely, that would have fooled me, and we'll see if those, those card tricks, if those, can translate to controller tricks in Call of Duty. I doubt it.
Well, I was. I mean, the fidelity. I mean, actually, it's not a bad transfer. I'm not surprised to see like a lot of gamers into Magic, because the control over your fine motor control. It pays off, yeah.
A lot of them have those butterfly knives that you can flip around.
Yep.
The fake ones, of course.
Yep. Well, you see it on the screens. We're getting into the next map here. We're looking for a 3-0 on control. And the Condors off to an early push there, a weird one towards B. They do get at least a kill there, but they're playing for that odd A through A to B rush. Did not work. That feels like something I would expect out of maybe Minnesota.
Hey, I was telling you last week that going to B before A was working for Conestoga, and they look to pick off right where they left off last week. And, of course, it is a weirder look, but, hey, if weird works, then all power to it.
Yep. They faked off again one of those ticks on A. Does get shut down. Can they at least grab? Ooh, a tick. Dremo. Again, one of our better players when it comes to objective holding is going to stay on point, but they aren't going to get that tick. It gets shut down, but it does buy a lot of space for A.
And look at the position here as Conestoga could go to A very easily. All 4 members of Minnesota were over on that B site, and there we are going for that first third. We're about halfway there. It's going to be on Jay right here.
Oh, no. We lost another gunfight, but they did open up B site, and I think it is actually going to be great, though, for Neb. Ooh, he got caught off on the cross there by Klinger.
But we see him running back and forth, back and forth. This is very creative from Conestoga.
It is, but unfortunately, look at the clock right now with only 20 seconds left and not even a single tick on a site. This is actually not going that well for the Condors at this point. Now, they are going to finally lock down B, stop that timer, and that should get them an extra minute if they can lock in that B site. But A is going to be very difficult. Oh, man.
They lost all 4 members there. 3 on a score streak. It looked like the Hunter missile coming down and able to get them. And then, wow, just all going down like dominoes, one after another. And this is the end of the game. It looks like as there's 2 seconds. They are on site, though. They're controlling A. They've switched it up all over again. Another one on B. Unable to get it.
Had to win that gunfight, and unfortunately, he does not. Very interesting. I will have to say, I'm wondering if that loss came from the fact that they wanted to try some different strats here. And I'd be intrigued and hard-pressed to believe they would go for the same stuff once they switch sides again after this.
Yeah, not a chance that they do when they go back on the tech. That really, they found themselves in 19 seconds and not a single tick off the board. And I fully think that comes off what happened last week for them, where they tried to take A in the early goings, and it failed. So they switched to B, and like you said, it's trying a new strat, or as I like to call it, being too cute with it.
Yeah, and this is what I expect more from a B rush, is through these corridors like this. And that's going to give Frizzy a chance to light them all up, but he misses his first, and that's going to be whole team over to B site where none of the rest of the Condors are at this point.
This is what Conestoga wanted to happen when they went for the attack.
But they take the mid route.
It was interesting.
That was the hard thing.
That's definitely what soiled them, as if they did exactly what Minnesota did. They might have themselves in the same situation, but Frizzy and Dremo putting Conestoga back on the map, back in this site. It's contested, and they're able to clear it out.
Dremo with the 3-piece as well. That's beauts for him. If he can get another one here, he'll be on his way towards a couple kill streaks. But the Condors at least shutting down that full hold on B site. A tick did get pulled out from their opponents, and now J Ray watching that A site make sure no one's moving on.
Timer going down to 45 seconds is after that first tick went down. Conestoga's been on top since. Defense for both teams has been very effective, and it's going to be on Conestoga to defend A as there's 41 seconds to clock. A moving.
Yeah, that's true. And now on site, Condor should be out of sight lines. There it is. J Ray can take off that player. But, oh, yeah, they do stop it before another tick gets put on there. They're going to at least try to clear that because they do know that if they don't, that's going to get captured pretty quickly here with the fact that they have most of their players not on the field.
We're down to our final 30 seconds here, and Minnesota's gone back over to the B site, the one that they're much closer to. It will be on them to get it, but J-Ray on the flank. Very good lurking from him. He will go down, but it opens up the site for Dremo and the rest of Conestoga to take a lead.
Yeah, unfortunately, though, if they can't win these gunfights, it's going to be problematic. You got a 2v1. Please win it. Thank you so much. Eliminated off that point. B site still might be captured here over the ledge. We do have Dremo going. He gets taken down, and now it's just up to Neb, I believe, to be able to shut that down. So, sorry, Frizzy. And he is on a tear here, but B site almost capped. It's contested. Please shut this down.
20 seconds left. The site on control. Dremo and Frizzy trying to keep it and trying to stop them from taking it, but they do, and that will No, they do not get it. Conestoga on the defense. That's Neb on a triple kill. Look at that. There's 15 seconds left. The clock going down. Neb on a multi-kill. Can you believe what happened? I can't believe this. There's 5 seconds left. Conestoga able to take it when there was just a sliver of control left. They have gone over to A. It's going to be on Conestoga to retake A now. And wow, 6 seconds left for the Minnesota side.
They do got to watch, though, on the side there. We still have Bladesy trying to make his way over to B to finally clean that up. But Drema is locking down that back lane. Get them off site here. 0 seconds left. The Condors, very close.
Wow.
But they do pull away.
Wow, WOW. As I could have swore to you that B site had been controlled.
Yeah, they were like milliseconds away from capping that point. And now we end up in a 1-1 situation. I think the Condors are going to be a little better off on attack this time. Again, I think that first weird push definitely set them on the wrong foot. We'll back to basics maybe here, because we'll find out. But maybe it was just Minnesota having a strong defense.
It was definitely an interesting strat. Maybe an off strat for Conestoga. You said it. Maybe trying something new as they go right back to it, but instead, right to A this time. Not that little cute split push to B. And the first gold around going to Neb, and Conestoga already got the first tick down.
No, this is massive. Whole squad on A. They got 2 ticks on, potentially a third. By being able to hold these different angles here, anybody looking from rooftops or any angle is not going to be able to kill all 3 of them at once, and they get the extra minute immediately.
That's as quick as it gets. I'm in disbelief again. The end of last round and the start of this round look to be going the exact same way for Conestoga, putting themselves up top and riding the momentum. This has been electric.
Condors trying to find their way back over to B site. Look at that strong hold from Minnesota. They're trying to go for the spawn camps right now and trying to be able to just shut them down, trap them in there. And they're doing, honestly, a significantly good job of that, counting down those lives. Condors almost out of the 20 mark at this point as they try to make their way towards B. We do have that lurker, though. Dremo's trying to find a little bit of a sneaky kill here, but he gets taken out.
Yeah, just not able to get the first shot on the board there. And the rest of Conestoga trying to battle out. They've taken A, but unable to get to this B site. And you're saying the spawn control from Minnesota has been huge and just unable to get the first shot in these fights. Minnesota is taking it to Conestoga now. It's been night and day since that point was taken.
And now on the far side, they might have an opportunity. Neb and Dremo are trying to sneak their way around there. Watch out on A side, though. They just can't creep out through, but Neb and Dremo still could have that chance. That's going to be potentially the opening they need to move over to the B site. Final minute is about to hit on the clock, and they've had a lot of trouble making their way through that top side, but finally the breakthrough.
Finally is right. J-Ray makes his way over and just losing the lives battle. They're down 5 right now, but getting the positional battle on B site. Not in control, though. Minnesota's holding it strong, and it's still just contested. Conestoga finally earning their way into capturing.
That's huge. Yeah, that's a massive kill there from J-Ray on Fluid, is because that's going to open up a lot of space there, but they do have 2 of the Minnesota players making their way onto the site to contest it, and that's going to stop that timer and any more ticks from going forward. Unfortunately, a kill there for Kligger onto Neb is going to hurt us. In a good position there is Frizzy, though. He shuts down 2 with J-Ray on the 3rd, and now we should be able to lock this one in.
Yeah, that control keeps going up, but the contest from that last remaining member of Minnesota, but Fluid goes down. Conestoga's locking this in. They're down to their final third of the bar.
Shooting fish in a barrel there. Condors had all 4 players on site. They had all 4 players ready to lock that down, and that is something you don't usually see.
They were just in the position they needed to, and whether or not they were hitting the gunshots, it didn't matter because they had the positional game, and like you said, right at the end of the game there, shooting down on them like fish in a barrel. Conestoga, once they got to that position, the round was over.
Well, the good thing is usually you don't want to spare a player to shoot over the ledge like that, because I mean, if you lose that player, you've probably lost sight if someone's moving up through there. The fact you have 3 teammates to back you up and you know they're going to have to rush through there because of the time left, you can send that extra player to just pop, 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 aim down.
And that's why they were so comfortable to do it. And we see another really quick B take here from Minnesota.
Oh, good try there as he tries to nail him through the pillars. You saw him, tracked him nicely there, but he loses the fight. Frizzy can't find that first blood, and it is an aggressive push towards B.
Yeah, we're right back over to this B site, and Minnesota, 2 rounds in a row, have just taken it in a fury. Already 1 tick down. Conestoga, it's going to be tough for them to get back on this site. Lots of players lying down.
Especially when you got a little worm hanging out of the front doorstep. You can't find where he is to squash him, and that's going to be a B site secured. Strong push from Minnesota. 2 minutes left now. Condors have to really lock in this A site.
Yeah, I mean, it's the position that Condors, they've been good for holding it, and it's right in between all of the buildings, so looking down on it, it's going to be tough for Minnesota to take this. But Conestoga has been losing lots and lots of team members. They're trying to get themselves back into this one. The Lives 24-20 right now.
Yeah, not in the best spot here for spawn trap, so they're definitely going to have to be careful as they move themselves into that position. But look at that. It's actually Bladesy trying to eliminate any kind of spawn trap that could happen as he makes his way through to that A site. But the Condors do find them from behind. Great flank from them.
And that was a great team play there, as almost dying there and then eventually dying was Frizzy. But J-Ray that whole time had his back and kept him alive for an extra minute, which is keeping Conestoga in control right now as we're 110 down here. Conestoga holding this A site with their dear lives. J-Ray and Frizzy getting some big kills on Fluid and on the other member of Oh my goodness, on MNSU here as Frizzy gets a big kill. 1 minute left, and there's no control on A at all yet.
Now, shots out from Frizzy. Can he find anyone? He's got a whole team swarming around him right now. That's just one, but he'll get shot in the butt. Fluid take some help, but look, they're doing great. 45 seconds left, and not a single tick here for Minnesota. They might find one now if we can't get that gunfight, but that win from Neb is going to keep them in a good position to be able to hold down A site. They got to watch out, though. 2 are on point, and they'll be able to lock in a tick.
Yep, and there it is, and dying as well on the top of the map there. Dremo, Frizzy missing that stem text. It's going to be on him, and Neb with the Predator drone. He gets 3 with that. That's exactly what Conestoga did, shutting them down right before that final tick, and here we go, 3 members in. Frizzy got a little overwhelmed.
It's that swarming every single time you turn around the corner. Don't expect 1, expect 3 or 10. That's exactly what Minnesota does every single time. They almost have that second tick, 20 seconds left. All they need to do is get on that point, and that's done, or exactly what they've done.
And staying on that point, they got 3 members in. Of course, Neb picking up a big kill. Maybe what Conestoga needed, but not enough. Too much, too little, too late. Conestoga loses that one, and we're heading into another the overtime, I want to call it.
First to 3. Again, we've seen a lot of this tonight. But it's basically a best of 1 again.
It's a whole, it's a new game. Yes, it is.
It comes down to this, really, for Minnesota. They don't win this round, then it's GG for them. They're done for the day, and Condors walk away with a 3-0 map win. For the Condors, if they want to end their night early, then they're looking to shut this one down on attack.
Which I like.
What the game plan is, yeah.
I like attack. I mean, that first round definitely wasn't the prettiest thing in the world, but they have one attack, and I like seeing them here again.
Yeah, that first one was rough. Maybe they try it again. There's no way they go for a B rush. No, they're definitely go for split, as they want to try to find which option's going to be open. You don't want to be too readable. And they actually might have a way to sneak back through B site. Yeah, oh, they got one. They watch the cross, though. At least they got the information of where the other is. They're not going to go for A, and they're getting a little bit swarmed onto B site. Yeah, wait for that first. Don't give away the fact that you're there. Now get on site, but he's going to watch that contest is going to happen, and then he's going to freak out. Someone's here. Get the kill! Not quite.
Unable to. If that wall was wall bangable, definitely would have, and Neb follows it up. We're getting our first captures of the game, and Neb with the aggressive pistol play to get the surprise on the outside of the zone. He continues to capture it. We're getting closer and closer to our first stick, and they're also on A site, spreading out the offense and really putting the pressure on.
No, this is great because now it's up to Minnesota to figure out which site they want to go make a push for, and Conestoga is getting ticks on both points at the exact same time.
This is just such clean play as we're already almost done the A site here, and they're definitely focusing on this one now. B site, 1 tick down, and that's all they needed. 2 minutes on the board, and they only need to get 2/3 of this last point, and they're already on it. Look at the speed from Conestoga here.
Yeah, let's see if they can make it through now, though. It's Minnesota in a decent position with 3 players ready to lock down that flank. And watch, they're watching the flank too. You even saw Klinger there trying to keep an eye on the back, but he left a little bit too early because Frizzy is making his way up through that side as Condors get poised to strike.
A spear up in the back here. I'm expecting him to be able to come in and do some damage, but no, it does not matter. He does get a kill on Neb, but Conestoga gang kills back on the board. Dremo and Frizzy, the last 2 members alive there, J-Ray and Neb going down, but they're back on the site. It is being contested. They can't find the opponents, and they're really just vying for control.
Well, that's huge for Minnesota. That bought them a lot of time. That player staying on site allowed them to steal that back away from the Condors, and with the Condors having to respawn down bottom of the map, that's a long distance. They got to walk to get back.
Yeah, and they still want to get these 2 remaining thirds. The defense from Minnesota has already cleared off 1 minute from the board. It's on Conestoga now to get some kills, string them together, and then attack as a unit. And we'll see what they can do here as it's opening up a little bit, but not as much as they would think.
They needed to win those gunfights, though, and that's problematic. Still 50 seconds on the board. They have a lot of time because they got that A site locked in early there, but very interesting. J-Ray is near site, but he doesn't want to push on yet and give away the fact that he's there.
Exactly. He's just biding his time. He's got 30 seconds until he does have to hop on, really. And Conestoga's trying to get these last remaining flanks watched, and there's Spear Up coming in, trying to contest J-Ray here, as that's a really good angle there, almost immediately with the headshot. I like seeing this from J-Ray. I like the aggressive melee kill!
Beat him down, baby! I
real
love
quick.
the play. Absolutely massive from him because he's able to, again, he played that angle so well, threw out the stun as well to make sure that that player had to force in and just beats him down. A huge J-Ray clutching this one out. Condors win. Let's go, baby. Show him what's up. J-Ray, my man. Frizzy locking down that S&D, but it was up to J-Ray to lock down this final one.
They just made quick work of him there, and I got a little worried there a few times. Search and Destroy going to the final round, and then we saw Secure here going to the final round and able to do it. Conestoga pulling it out, and as the season has gone on, they are playing better and better and more like a genuine team.
And while there was also a little bit of oddity there, try something new. It doesn't hurt. Why not? This is the time to do it, right? But I love to see that they said, okay, let's get back to roots. Let's get back to fundamentals. And every time they step back to fundamentals, they were locked in. This is the thing you often see with teams that are maybe not as good as you. And I do believe, well, obviously the Condors were better. They won 3-0. While Minnesota did put up a good fight, Condors were dealing with a lot of things maybe they weren't used to, and beginner's luck can come out. I mean, the catching people off guard works to a certain degree, but eventually the better player is going to figure out what you're doing and adapt to that, adjust, play around that, and eventually come out on top. And the Condors did exactly that.
Exactly. No matter what challenge was thrown at them, they were able to find a way around it. And the biggest thing that I like seeing is that there were less trade opportunities for Conestoga. It was more so if Frizzy was standing there, then J-Ray had his back, and then Frizzy wouldn't die. And that was one of the biggest things, is they had a man advantage because they had each other.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Condors locking in the dub, and in fantastic style, too. I mean, the biggest thing I want to ask is how they felt about it, because from my perspective, and I believe from yours as well, the communication felt a lot better, at least from the results that we're seeing, and how composed they remained in most situations and how fast they reacted to situations.
Well, the rotates especially were just on one. And then that final round, I think there's no better round for Conestoga communication, as they almost had 2 ticks on both sides at the exact same time. That's all about talking. That's all about knowing where the enemies are, where you are, and what you're doing.
Exactly. Hey, while we didn't get some wins on League of Legends earlier, I'm glad that we got to end things off with a dominating performance from our COD squad. Of course, there's more esports from the Condors to come throughout the rest of the week. So, of course, if you're not following us, you need to be doing that now and clicking all the buttons down below, all of our socials, and going and following them. Of course, shout out to our partners as well, CSI and Six Sigma, and, of course, Nike. And I want to give a shout out to you, because you know what? You're darn tootin' cool.
I appreciate that, Leaf. You're a pretty good partner on your own right there.
All right, there.
You could sling them like the rest of them.
How's your accent? Before we go, let's cringe it up real quick.
Oh, I was for cringing it up, I was a sheriff in a grade 9 play.
You're a sheriff there, eh?
I was a sheriff in a grade 9 play.
Oh, not bad. Okay.
And I gotta go talk to my wife Betsy, wrangle the cows, and call it a good night.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. It's been a real pleasure. We'll see you on the next one.
Condors Esports is innovating intercollegiate gaming in Ontario and beyond. We've built a community where you can compete, play, and work in a dynamic program accessible from all campuses.
Condors Esports is more than just gaming. Here, you'll find empowerment and inspiration in state-of-the-art facilities equipped with the latest technologies and unwavering support.
We are varsity athletes, turning victories into championships as high-performing gamers.
We are relentless, constantly pushing our limits and pursuing excellence through every match.
We are Condors. Gaming connects us on campus or online, all through best-in-class equipment.
We're building a foundation of experience, powered by our passion, and developing skills that drive personal and professional success.
We are eager students transforming our dreams into careers in dynamic and emerging industries.
Condors Esports goes beyond gaming, fostering enduring friendships, unforgettable experiences, and meaningful connections.
This is your chance to transform your passion for video games, esports, and technology into something impactful. Learn how Conestoga is introducing Condors Esports to your campus and connect with fellow Condors striving to soar.
We